I loot the bodies.
You find people tracked the bandits to a camp where, as evidenced by these red X's, you dispatched many of them, and the remaining scattered into the woods.
We can't see the red X's.
Oh, because I didn't change the page. Ahaha. As evidenced by those red X's.
Oh, those ones. Okay.
Oh, those red.
Those red X's.
Those ones, yes.
So Nora sheaths her sword and turns to Aemon, nods at his weapon, and says,
Aemon.
"No, you should have somebody teach you how to use that thing before she goes and gets her bow. What are you guys doing?"
Well, first of all, I'm reaching through this computer program and smacking you upside the head.
I'm gonna walk over to Lucius, because it's not Lucian, and I'm gonna put a hand on his shoulder and just say to him, you know, you don't want to be too hard on these guys. These are just regular people that have had a tough go of it with the recent war times. They're just looking to make their way through this world. I think we can let them go.
I was perfectly willing to let them go until they attempted to raid me.
Oh man, I gotta turn Grendel way up.
It's the garage factor.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just go back to my computer. No worries.
All right.
We can keep going now.
So
So-
I'm gonna go and check on these people over here.
Which overwhelmed.
I will as well.
The two dudes.
Oh, gotcha.
The
Okay.
the who I assume are the lords.
Those are the two nobles, correct? They are unconscious, but alive.
Yeah, I'm heading over too. Alright, Merrick, so do you think we should be taking the wagons back with us, or should we just carry these guys back on horseback?
I'm gonna speak to you again because I'm still not sure of everybody else I'm hanging out with, so I'm still talking in Orc primarily to you.
Yeah.
And I will go ahead and I think that we should look at the wagons and see what's in there. And there's, do we have any kind of? We don't have any horses or anything in the area. Is there any horses here?
Well, you can hear horses nearby because all of these guys were mounted.
Mhm.
So you assume that they have the horses tied up or somehow accounted for to camp for the night nearby somewhere.
And we didn't go too far to get here, did we?
No, I mean you went in the course of, an afternoon to an evening. So. a few
Well, I guess my
hours, you
point would be
figure.
it'd be foolish to leave in the wartime. It'd probably be foolish to leave wagons and horses about without hooking them up and taking it with us.
Sure.
So that would be what I would say. I would say to Krench is that yeah, we should look for the horses and find them and bring them along with us.
All right.
Also do something about healing these nobles.
Yeah. Does anyone have any healing spells to try and get these guys back to consciousness here?
Before we do that too, Andrew, do me a favor. Type in the 2 spells that you are generally going to have prepped in the chat there, unless we.
I thought I had 3 at level.
Do you have
level 1.
3?
Yes.
Tell me.
So I believe I do, and
I'll double check.
Yeah.
That's,
But my plan is detect magic.
you do. You have 3 first level spells. I stand corrected.
Yeah, 3 would be detect magic, entangle, and goodberry. And so to answer your question, I can create some good berries for these guys, and they heal for 1 hit point. But I don't know that they're going to wake them up from being unconscious.
1 hit point would wake you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you eat unconsciously though? That would be.
I can take their face and put it in their mouth and crunch it up like
Come on, a little artistic license, I think, is all right.
All right.
I mean,
So-
or I could chew it up like a bird.
Regurgitating it for them.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So while Merrick is shoving good berries into the noble's mouth, what are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna go ahead and set out towards where we're hearing the horses and see if I can bring a couple of them back.
Sure. Well, there was 1 for each of the members of the bandit party, as well as the 2 pack horses. Pack horses and riding horses, trained a little differently. So there's 2 pack horses for the wagons, and then there's 12 riding horses. They aren't pristine beasts. I wouldn't call them, they're not like ready to keel over and die, but they're on the thin side. They could use a little more TLC, but otherwise they're all fine. They're tied to like a lead line. There's like a post on each side with a rope running between them. There's a couple of them so they can move around at night, but they're not going anywhere type of deal.
So we should probably get ourselves some horses, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, well, we could use, one of each person is obviously going to have to run these carts with, with 1 horse. And then we could conceivably do 3 more horses. But the rest of them, I mean, we might as well just let them go, at this point, if there's more horses around.
There are.
We can always hitch them. I mean, depending on how far we have to go back, we could hitch them to the back of the wagons.
And we also have the horses that we rode to get here. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we could do that.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, you have the rope from the lead line, so you could certainly tie them behind one of the wagons and kind of lead them along.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay, so whoever's going to do that, make a handle animal check.
All right, let's see. Animal handling. Let's see. So for animal handling, I have a +4, so 10.
Perfect. So you can't manage to get them set up. Are you guys going to ride? And you still have to hook up the pack ones as well. As Merrick is force feeding good berries, the 2 nobles are starting to stir and come around. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I'm going to start looking for any loot, weapons, whatnot.
All of the bandits do have some small amount of coin on them.
Okay.
So whoever wants to write down the total from the
I already have the book going.
7
FYI, guys.
bandits. All right. So from the 7 that you dispatched, a combined 336 copper pieces and 28 silver pieces. There's also, miscellaneous hand axes, hammers, clubs, if you want to stock up on various random hand weapons. You could. Crossbows as well, some spears. The camp does have a small amount of supplies in the way of, food or bedrolls, should you choose to take any of that. In the carts themselves, it looks like it's the treasure and such that they took from the convoy. It looks like they hadn't unloaded it yet. And so there's basically a bunch of kind of like a small purses like thrown on top of each other. There's 2 of them that are significantly larger and more full, made of a much finer, nicer material.
I grabbed those.
And there's some small amount of jewelry in the pile as well.
I would like to roll a perception to see if I see him grab those.
Okay, Jeremy, make a sleight of hand check, and Lucius, a perception check. Oh, you see it. Oh, that's the wrong one. You don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see shit.
I was like, damn, he is good.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, Lucius might be tied to a log. Hang on. I mean,
Yeah, I was saying, him in there might have a log. Okay, so by the way, when there's 2 like that, because that's 2 rolls. That's an 8 and a 5. Unless we're rolling for advantage or disadvantage, it's always the one on the left.
Okay.
So in this case, it's an 8. So you swipe the 2 bags. Okay.
Woohoo. How much are in there?
Are you gonna sit there and count it out?
No, never mind. I'll just pocket it.
All right.
He's getting smarter.
No, I'm just being more thievy.
Okay.
And that is pretty much the extent of what is in this area.
I'm going to start gathering the bodies and kind of outside of the camp, but not that far outside the camp, start lining them up and kind of in an organized manner, and not really doing like a funeral rite thing because they I don't feel like they deserve that, but I'm being respectful to the bodies.
Okay. Lucius is off to the side doing death priest things. That'll take not too long, but a few minutes anyway. Either Merrick is or actually Krench would be hitching up the horses. Merrick is shoving berries down these guys' throats, and Jeremy is stealing things. So the two nobles come to. The larger of the two introduces himself as Sir Turld. So let's see, Jeremy, you would be nearby because you would be raiding these. And so everybody but Lucius, who's probably slightly off to the side, make a and the other guy's name is Lord Hughes. Make a information check, or what is it? Knowledge check. What do they call it here? Is it information?
There's no
An
information.
intelligence check?
Yeah, but there's like categories at the end of it.
Yeah.
So are you thinking like a medicine, investigation? Like...
No, it's
Insight?
There's a history or insight would be the two, in my opinion.
Hold on, let me see. I guess it would be a history check, would be the closest thing to what I'm thinking of, so we'll use that.
Oh dear God, can we not?
And Eamon, you have advantage on this one.
Oh, okay, good, because I get a minus to this roll.
So how many?
Ooh.
So there you go. So Merrick got a 19. You're not advantaged, so you always use the one on the left.
Mhm.
Eamon gets a 12. And Krench, you as well, because you're within earshot.
Okay.
So all three
11.
of you,
Yeah.
all three of you recognize the name of Sir Turld. He's kind of like
How do you spell it?
Turld. Oh, speaking of, that reminds me. If everybody clicks on journal in the upper right, you notice you have a handout there that I made for you guys. I started a journal of PCs. I added the couple you met in the first session. So you're welcome to update that as we go along, should you choose to.
Okay.
Just kind of
Nice.
FYI. All three of you recognize the name Sir Turld. He's kind of regarded as one of Menande's greatest knights, greatest warriors. Kind of like right-hand man and good buddy to Prince Raoul. And who rolled Merrick, 19. Even though you're not from this area, you are the only one that recognizes the other name. He's kind of a minor duke that also obviously was supporting Prince Raoul. As they start to come to, they share that they both had some kind of internal injury or something wrong with them, but your magical good berries, despite only having a handful of hit points now, are making them feel significantly better. And they're starting to, move around a little bit. Obviously, as they came out of Terra pretty heavily wounded, they're not really armed or armored of any sorts. But they are alive now and moving around a little bit.
When you say moving around a little bit, are we talking like limping, kind of just barely moving around, or are they?
Well, the good berries are like 1 hit point each.
Okay.
So if you put a couple of them, they're walking around with 1 or 2 hit points. But the magical healing actually would have healed their actual injuries, so they would be at full capacity, if a bit sore.
Okay. So then they should be capable of riding a horse then.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
What time of day is it?
This would be
Nighttime.
nighttime. You guys chose to attack at night.
Right.
But how late into the night?
Let's say midnight.
So point being is that even though we've got the horses and everything kind of hooked up and understood, and probably makes sense to sleep.
Sure.
Yeah, we probably better bed down.
So are the horses in a way that they're not going to run away?
Well, they were on a lead line. If you guys, I would assume if you guys decided to bed down for the night, you would have tied them to the wagon. So we could say you do that in the morning, because they were
Okay.
set up to. The bandits were going to camp for the night, so they were already set up. like that. So you could have just left them like that, and then in the morning, come get them to.
Okay. That seems just like the best thing to do. What do you guys think?
Yep, I agree. Let's bed down.
And before we do that, I'm going to create more good berries.
All right.
So they last for 24 hours. I'm gonna have them for until since it's midnight. This is perfect.
All right. How are you guys doing watch over the night? Are you guys all just gonna sleep and say screw it?
No,
I'll
we'll
take first
definitely,
watch.
yeah, definitely do watch.
Yeah, we'll take our turns.
Okay.
During my turn, I count my pouches.
Okay. Well, everyone else is asleep. The 2 pouches. One of them has 15 gold pieces, 14 silver pieces, and 2 copper. The
15,
other one?
14, 2.
The other one has 42 gold pieces, 27 silver pieces, 6 copper, and a small white stone with a pale blue glow.
Interesting. Can I make a insight check to see if I would notice anything on this stone out of
No.
normal?
I don't see any reason that you would be able to glean anything off of just looking at it.
Because
As far as you can tell, it's just some kind of a gemstone.
Okay.
If only someone had detect magic was awake and he was being subverted. I don't know.
Yep. Okay, so you guys rest through the night without incident. You wake up in the early morning. I assume you rehitch the horses as you had planned.
Yeah.
Torold and Hughes begin kind of, as they wake up in the morning, they're feeling a little better, start fishing around the pile of supplies that was robbed, and they start asking around if anybody has seen their 2 pouches.
Obviously, I say no, but I don't speak much. I just shake my head.
Can't say that I have, and I kind of, just put my arms on my hips and just kind of look around and see if I can see anything.
I knew it was coming, so.
Yeah, I'll say, do I look like I have money?
Lord Hughes, Torold seems to take you at your word and starts fishing amongst the weapons and at least grabs himself an axe or a spear of some sort, so at least he has something. But Lord Hughes kind of raises his eyebrows at you and says, "Sure you haven't seen the pouches?"
By the way, we get all our hit points back when we do a long rest, right?
Correct. All your spells and hit points are back.
All right, I toss them. I toss them the pouches.
On the lieutenant's on the shelf. Next to the
Okay,
couch.
so you return them both to Lord Hughes, who tosses one over to Torold. And Hughes makes some kind of comment like, maybe you're not as far down the wrong path as you think you are. So all the horses are tied up, and the 2 noblemen have managed to acquire a weapon of some sort at the minimum, even though they're not really armored at all. Anything else you want to do before I assume you want to head back toward the convoy?
Well, I would have, knowing that we were going to sleep and I was going to get spells back, I would have hit each of those guys with a healing word.
Okay, great.
So let me see here. Healing word is...
Well, I mean, they're gonna sleep, so they're gonna regain their hit points, right?
Oh, that's true. Never mind.
So hold on, real quick, Jason. Like,
Yes.
Do you have your entire character sheet fully filled out, or no?
Yeah.
So-
Not in this, but I have it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Adobe.
Never mind then.
Okay.
Because once you have it filled out, you can just click the button next to say.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do
his-
that.
I kind of like being able to figure it out and look through all the numbers and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it definitely helps. Like, it helps you understand the game better by doing it that way, or your way. I mean, But okay, that was it.
All right, so let's hit
Anything
Suze
else
up.
before
And,
you?
I
saddle
mean, we want to head over to where our horses were on the way there. See if we
Correct.
can't hitch our horses to it and bring the
Sure.
whole lot back.
That's no problem. So you guys mount
Wait.
up and
Are we taking any of the carts?
Yes.
Yeah, we're taking
Cool.
both the carts. Yeah.
there you go.
Excellent.
I'll drive one of the carts.
You taking any of the supplies or weapons or anything? Or you just leaving all that?
Oh, we're taking it.
Yeah.
all.
Throw it all
Throwing
in the
it in the
cart.
cart.
Yeah.
All right.
Is somebody keeping an inventory? What is all this stuff that we've just acquired?
So you basically have miscellaneous hand weapons you probably would have more. So let's say 12 various, a spear, an axe, a hammer, kind of.
Any like any two-handed like axes of any kind?
Negatory.
Ah, bummer.
No, worth an ask though.
Any
Yeah.
rapiers?
Negatory. Remember, swords are a status symbol. Nobody carries a sword. Basically.
I know.
That's why it's all axes, hammers, spears, that type of thing.
All right. Well
And
then.
a couple days worth of supplies for a handful of people. Food, maybe a couple, let's say a small keg of some kind of ale, I would imagine, and some, not particularly fresh vegetables hanging out, and maybe some dried meats. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. So you guys mount up and travel in the early morning to the southeast toward where you last left Sir Joffrey and the convoy. The weather, as beautiful as it's been the last couple days, is definitely turning to the south a little bit. You can see the dark clouds pulling in, and feel like there's going to be maybe some weather here in the next few days. You find the convoy waiting for your return, and it's when you guys pull up, it's a little celebratory. These people have been pretty down on their luck and haven't had a good thing happen to them in a while. So people coming back with a successful rescue mission, in particular of somebody in Sir Torald, who's viewed as a national hero. It's, a little bit of a minor celebration. It's a feel good moment. Obviously, Joffrey knows Sir Torald, so they give each other a hearty handshake and hug and greeting. And Sir Torald introduces the Duke Lord Hughes to Sir Joffrey as well. And what are you doing as you guys come up?
I would stop some distance away, like in eyesight, but probably 30 to 60 feet away, and just watch.
Okay. All right. Well, without anything in specifics, the rest of you kind of greet the fellows that you know as appropriate, and organize the convoy as you begin traveling. I assume back toward Sir Andre's keep, which was the plan. This is a convoy of a little over 100 people and 13 wagons or so, and a spattering of horses. So how are you guys going to arrange yourselves?
I'll be happy to continue. Riding one of the carriages.
So, are you riding as a group in the front? Are you scattering yourselves out amongst the convoy? That kind of a.
I'll be in the back.
I'll stay within the convoy.
Okay.
I'll be up towards the front of the convoy.
All right.
I'm gonna stick with the orc. He's the only person I know.
There we go.
Are you guys all choosing to stay mounted? Except for you, Merrick. I don't think gnomes could ride a full-size horse.
I told you, the backpack.
I mean, he can sit on a wagon easily enough. It's no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I was driving the wagon.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
All right.
maybe he and I are just sitting up together on one of those puppies.
All right. Everyone else is mounted or walking?
I will be walking.
All right. So it's the four of you as well as Sir Joffrey's party, which would be Nora and the two pages whose names I have written down. Give me a moment. Harold and Charles, as well as Sir Joffrey, and then the page that came with you, Krench, which would be Chorster.
Mm-hmm.
write those down here so they're right in front of me and I don't have to flip through. You guys ride at a pretty slow pace. These people aren't in the greatest of shape. To the north or east northeast. And everybody's in a pretty good mood over the next couple of days. It's pretty quiet going. It should take you, it took you 3 days to get here when you guys were moving pretty good. Even though it's not particularly far with a slower convoy, you figure maybe 4 days to get back. Anything in particular that you guys want to do at night while you're on the trip, or you just kind of want to let it ride?
I can play the pan flute and the horn, so I might quietly play.
All right, you guys get a little traveling music from the gnome.
Still not talking to many people. Just playing some music.
All right.
I think one of the times that we're traveling, I'd kind of like to have a conversation with Merrick.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say to him, you had told me about how you could shapeshift, but I gotta say, I didn't foresee a giant brown bear. But I gotta say, it was very entertaining to watch.
Don't make me angry.
I wouldn't like you when you're angry.
Exactly. No, it's a nice ability to have.
Now, where did you learn that?
It's as a druid of, it is something that I am able to do, and people like me are able to do it as well. It's a matter of devotion to nature.
Very nice. Well, obviously, a bear is going to be probably one of the most powerful things you can transform into for battle, but what other kind of things can you actually change into?
Anything I've seen.
Huh.
Pretty much any beast I've seen, and I can't change into things that can. Currently, can't change into things that can fly or swim, but can still change into pretty powerful creatures, and hopefully with training and focus, we'll eventually be able to change into flying animals and swimming animals at some point.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've always had a particular respect for especially the flying hunters and great birds. I just can't imagine how freeing that must be to be able to fly, be able to find yourself, able to swoop down, able to mobily attack anything from any direction. That's gotta be the ultimate freedom.
I would say at this point, I would introduce Krench to my pet raven that kind of has been hanging out, and I kind of motion and he flies over and lands on my shoulder.
Huh. Yeah, I've seen that thing hanging around. I didn't realize it was yours. Very nice.
Well, it's not mine. He's just my friend.
What's his name?
Pooh.
Aha.
So Pooh hangs out and he does some funny tricks and then flies off.
Nice.
All right, so Krench and Merrick got to know each other a little better. The first couple nights, days, other than the weather slowly turning, it's gotten pretty gloomy and much colder. Even though it's summer, not quite cold, more like cool and windy. Otherwise, the trip's been fairly good. The roads are in good shape, and it's been largely uneventful. And the people have been mostly in a good mood. They've escaped from their impending doom, getting out of Terra. And over the next few nights and days, you get closer to Sir Andre's keep. And right when you're getting, so it'd be the fourth day, about midday, the party and group notices a smoke coming from the horizon in the direction of where Andre's keep is.
I motion to Krench.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna start pulling those reins a little tighter and giddying up. Like
Is
we need to yelling out to everybody. We need to get there.
Is it like black smoke? I'm assuming like this looks like buildings burning type smoke, not
Yes.
or a forest fire, but not like white
Correct.
smoke.
No.
Gotcha.
So are you gonna crack the wagon and drag it there, or are you gonna get on a horse?
I think I'm gonna motion over to Sir Joffrey, and I'm gonna say I think we need to send in a party before we bring all these civilians in.
He says, agreed. Who wants to go?
All right.
And Sir Turld goes, I'll go, and he jumps to the front of the line, waiting for anybody else who wants to join him.
Yeah, I'm moving over to a horse, and I'm getting ready to go with them.
Yeah, I'll go.
All right. Three of you?
I stick with my orc.
Yeah.
You can hop on the back of the horse with him, no problem.
There we
Okay.
go. Nora coming with us?
No, she's kicking back.
All right. Yeah, we need somebody to watch all the people.
Yeah,
And,
well, you have the two other nobles and whatever. Lucius, are you gonna go or stay?
I don't know this lord. And
You would have chatted with him over the last couple of days, to where at least you have some passing familiarization with him.
what? No, the one we're going to.
Oh no, the one we're going to. No, him you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know him. And
I mean,
I'm gonna look back to Lucius and yell, I think we might need that bell of yours.
I'll kind of grunt, move towards the horse, and get on the horse.
all right. So the four of you gallop off.
Well, and let's bring Chorster with us.
Sure, he hops on and he's going home too. So
Yeah.
the 6 of you start galloping toward the keep. You know, the keep is in the center of a small village, right? So there's kind of outlying, farms and buildings that, centered on the keep. I think I said the population was probably just under 100 of the whole little area. Make a perception check, Krench, as you ride in.
All right.
Just Krench?
Just Krench.
Ooh.
That's gonna be
So
good.
it dawns on you as you're riding closer that there's like nobody around. As you pass these farms, there's nobody working in the fields. You pass houses, there's nobody at the houses.
All right.
So as you get closer to the town center / Sir Andre's keep, you slow down to see there's only one thing burning, and that is the keep walls and Sir Andre's house. And when you get closer to the city center, there are a handful of people around, small children and the elderly. Other than the property damage to, Sir Andre's keep and walls being on fire, the rest of the community seems largely untouched. There's maybe a kicked-in door here, something like that, but you don't there wasn't like full-scale looting or burning. It doesn't look like it. For the most part, it looks like there's just very few people there, and the keep and the walls are on fire.
All right. I'm gonna ride up to the closest person, dismount, and ask what's been going on.
1 second.
Are there bodies around at all, or is it just a very small amount of
there
people?
There are a couple, but really not very many. It doesn't look like anybody came in here and massacred. There's maybe 1 or 2 that you see lying around, which would kind of make you feel there's probably a couple more around that you don't see. But by and large, it doesn't look like there was fighting really. So, I'm sorry, Grendel, carry on.
I'd like to go to one of the bodies and see if I can tell how long it's been dead.
Sure, make a medicine check.
It's a 10.
It's good enough. It's still fairly fresh. You would say within the last day and a half, something like that.
Okay, so we're not bloaty yet. We're just stiff.
Right. Krench, you dismount and you walk up to an elderly farmer, a gentleman you know whose name is Varsond. He's kind of, kind of older guy, and he, as you walk up, he kind of barely acknowledges you, but mostly he has that kind of 1,000-yard stare,
What happened here?
Kind of gives you a, what?
What happened here?
He says, well, they came yesterday. A
Who?
couple score of them. The elves came, and they took almost everyone.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can head in towards Andre's keep and see, get a little closer to the inside, see if I can see anything further in detail.
Okay, Sir Torold kind of trots in about the same direction, looking around, trying to be on alert. The other three of you, and well, who did you take? Was it? Just wrote down the name too.
Oh, it's the other valet.
Chorster.
Yeah, Chorster.
Chorster. So he would be kind of trotting with you as well. The other three of you.
I'm going to begin gathering bodies.
Okay.
And arranging them. Begin the process of arranging them for last rites and all that.
Okay. You. How long are you gonna spend doing this for to start? Let's say.
I would say until someone comes and stops me.
Okay. So,
or until I notice something that kind of is warranting of immediate attention.
okay, fair enough. So Lucius seems to be collecting the dead as much as there are anyway. Aemon?
I'm just trying to gather information. How many elves? Which way did they go? How many people they take?
Okay, and so let's go ahead and start with you, Merrick. Are you just gonna go? You're still on the horse with Krench?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Krench for right now.
Okay, Aemon, go ahead and make an investigation check.
I'll take 20.
That does not exist in this edition, good sir. Okay, so the basic story that you seem to be getting is yesterday, right at dawn, it was like this group, and depending on who you're asking, it was either 15 or 50. It's hard to say for these people who are in the midst of, this tragedy happening to them. They just kind of appeared at first light. They must have, had something planned, and they didn't seem interested in hurting anybody. Although those who tried to fight were quickly dispatched, and so resistance was quashed very quickly. Most people just surrendered. They asked people what they did. They kind of looked them over, and then everybody was had a lip ring shoved into their lower lip, and everybody was loaded into carts. And by early afternoon, the party was gone, leaving only behind the people who you see in the city, or the village, I should say. Now, so
Did you see a
Aemon,
lip ring?
a lip ring.
Oh my
Like
god,
that.
they made them all emo.
So Eamon is doing his investigation. Lucius is rounding up the dead. Krench, Turold, Merrick, and Shorster are riding toward the center of the village to where the keep is.
The keep is burning, right?
The keep and the walls around the keep, both wood, were set on fire.
All right. Well, do I see any bodies in particular that I recognize, or see anybody that needs immediate help?
You've lived in this area for a few years now, so you probably would recognize nearly everybody, if nothing else, by name or face.
Sure. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Any notable?
Correct.
Noteworthy?
You don't see anything that catches your eye as you are trotting in, but there are no wounded.
Okay.
They're either fine
or they're dead. Okay.
Yeah. But there is one there's one body that you notice as you ride into the keep, which is Francis the blacksmith has been ran through, and his body is lying inside the keep, which is where his shop was.
Okay. Does the fire look like something that we'll be able to contain, or does it look like it is beyond saving?
I mean, I suppose that depends on how much effort you want to put into it. It's going pretty good. The river is, I would say a couple short miles away, so you guys would have to be bucket brigading it, I guess. It would be a pretty tall order, I think.
How much of the keep is actually left to be worth saving?
Well, it's the walls and his house in particular, the large house in the center. So, you figure the other buildings inside the keep, as they are at fire risk, you suppose. Although the fire hasn't spread and the weather has been getting damper. So that's going to help what you guys are trying to do if you don't want the fire to spread. And really, you would think, barring all of a sudden the weather drying out and wind, the keep is slightly removed from the rest of the village around it. So the only buildings that would be in danger would be the ones immediately in the keep.
Okay. And does it look like it would be unsafe for me to enter?
The house? Yeah, I think you would probably not be too interested in going in that house.
Okay. Same with the blacksmith portion of it?
Well, the blacksmith is a separate standing shop, and his shop is fine.
Okay.
You also notice Tyrone, the priest, was standing outside of the church.
Okay.
Which is inside the keep.
I will approach.
He gives you a hell fellow, well met.
Yep. And I return it.
So he tells you a very similar story to what Eamon is finding out.
Yep.
He gives you a little bit more in the way of specifics. One, he got kind of a front row seat because as a Church of Pelor, the elves largely let him be as long as he wasn't interfering with what they were doing. So unfortunately, he just got to stand there and kind of watch. He did, however, manage to hide away Norman the Halfling inside the church. So he kind of smuggled one at the very minimum away from him, and Norman was the baker of the town.
Okay.
He said he noticed when they were putting in the lip rings, they were different, not always the same lip ring. They were either bronze, silver, or gold. And the only person that they killed who wasn't fighting back was the blacksmith himself, Francis. So they were basically asking everybody like what they did, what their jobs, what their skills were. They would put a lip ring on him, and when Francis said what he did, is they murdered him on the spot. Andre was healed because Tyrone had returned. He tried to fight off, but I mean, he's only one man. He said they cut him down pretty good, and they either took him alive and dying or dead, but the body is with them when they left.
Okay.
He said they largely left the property alone with a couple exceptions, and the raid happened yesterday morning.
What direction did they leave?
Would be north.
Okay.
Because to the north is the river. On the north side of the river is the river's kind of the boundary between the territory controlled by the elves and the territory controlled by Menande. So you would assume that they went north of the river.
I just linked the map in the chat.
There you go.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna thank him for the information and ask if he needs anything. Are you okay? Do you need anything?
He's I think I'm largely okay.
Okay.
So after you guys spend some time investigating, the convoy does kind of slowly trickle in. They definitely seem to have left as far as you can tell. It was, as you talk to people, a pretty efficient endeavor. They were kind of in, got what they wanted, and left. And of the 100-ish people who originally populated the town, somewhere between 15 and 20 are left, and they're either about half and half elderly or very, very young.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna go around to basically who are the other people that are basically in charge of this group and start putting together a plan of action here. How are we gonna respond to this?
Okay, so we'll say you guys put together a group, the four of you, with Sir Joffrey and Turld and Hughes. And Sir Joffrey is basically, his plan is to stick around just long enough to make sure everything seems to be okay here, and then he's taking his people and he's riding hard to his keep to make sure they're not next. He wants to make sure his people are safe because his is the next closest village, town, whatever.
Right, and we would know the direction. Is
Correct.
that north?
His is to the northwest. So from what you can tell, they did not seem to be heading in that direction, but
Did they seem to be coming from that direction?
they don't really know because it sounds like this was planned, and basically at dawn, as people kind of were waking up, they were already like in the town ready to go. The people woke up to this raiding party here.
Okay.
So they seem to have kind of clunked in the middle of the night and caught the town by surprise.
But can we tell by any tracks or whatnot what direction they could have came from?
Sure. Make a survival check. Came from or went from?
Came from.
Came from. Okay, make a survival.
Can I help him with that to give him advantage for it?
Absolutely. Take an advantage on that roll.
And how about me?
Oh, it's only one. Either way, that's good enough. It seems like they came and went from the same direction.
Okay.
So they came from the north and left back to the north.
Correct.
Which either means they probably haven't hit his keep yet, or maybe they just had one group for each. So this might have been a big enough operation for them to hit them both at the same time.
Or they didn't take a straight line path.
Yeah, either way, if we're going to pursue them, there's really no reason for us to travel apart. We might as well all ride to Sir Joffrey's keep, since it's northeast as it is. And then from
Northwest.
there, we can head in the general... Sorry, what?
Northwest.
Sure, northwest. And then we can, just kind of head in the direction that we think they are after, if we want to continue to pursue.
Since I'm fiercely loyal to the people that I make as my friends, I kind of mentioned to Krench that I'm worried that he doesn't want to go after his lord, like immediately.
I mean, I definitely do. But the issue is the numbers advantage. I think if we want to actually have an opportunity to go against such a force, we're going to need the support of Sir Joffrey, and he's not going to come with us. He's going to be loyal to his people, and quite frankly, if they are amidst an attack now, they're going to need our help. So it seems smarter to attempt to collaborate here rather than recklessly charging in after them.
Something, Chorster, is that his name?
Chorster?
Yes, Chorster, the valet that came with you, that's also one of Sir Andre's men. He said, well, we also need to keep in mind we have these wounded convoy under our charge, and the last command we got from our lord was to see them south to Hastow as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we're kind of in between Terra and Hastow right now, right?
If you're looking at the map, you would be due west of Hastow.
West of Hastow.
I'm sorry, west of Terra. West of Terra.
West of
Ignore
Terra.
everything I just said. East of Terra.
Okay.
East, to the right.
We're on the ocean.
To the right.
All right.
And is that a river right there beside Terra, and that's the river in question?
Correct. So this keep is almost 100 miles east of Terra, just a few miles to the south of that river. So it's
Okay,
very
that's-
close to kind of the border of Falone and Menande.
And if we head north, with with our noble friend here, how far northwest is his stuff from Terra?
Probably 50 miles ish, 40 miles ish. So I think you guys can travel fast as 24 miles a day, if my memory serves right. So if you wanted to move quickly, and that means ignoring perceptions check and just riding really hard, you could get there in 2 days.
Mm-hmm. That's to his keep.
That's to Sir Joffrey's keep, yes.
Oh, it's a tough decision. Who here would be willing to follow me in a more direct approach after the raiding party?
Well, if we're following the raiding party, they will have fallen back into Elven lands. And there were somewhere between 15 and 50 of them as far as we know.
Right.
And if they've fallen back to Elven lands and they have them in an imprisonment camp or something like that, there's going to be even more of them.
Right.
But that's the point. That's why Krench wants to go with Lord Joffrey for the time being to check on his keep, and then go from there to ride hard afterwards after the.
Perhaps he should ask Lord Joffrey how many men he can provide.
Yeah, and I do.
He has, he's a young, established noble, similar to Sir Andre, a little bit more populous, but he's only got a handful of men, just like Andre would have. So, 4, 5, 6, something like that.
So it sounds like regardless of whether or not we have their support, we really won't be able to do a whole lot with how we are, with where our standing is currently, to try to pursue and engage this elven party.
So at this point, Sir Torald pipes up. As you guys have got to know him, he's a nice enough guy, but he's definitely aware of his own nobility.
Yeah.
A little bit haughty, if you will. And as you're discussing the merits of chasing after what you've gathered from your intelligence is a very heavily armed, very efficient group of people. He does remind you that you have the greatest warrior in all of Menande with you, as he stands there in his tattered rags with his hand axe.
Okay.
Can I insight check him and see how much of that is bullshit?
Sure.
Does he get advantage because of how obvious it is?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You need an insight check for that?
You never know.
That's
there
a
you go.
19.
That's a great one.
Now, you were inside Terra. You know full well he is a very powerful warrior. He was basically Prince Raoul's first choice of commander anytime he needed somebody. And like I said, he's widely regarded as one of the greatest warriors in all of Menande. So, despite his haggard appearance and recovering from injury and complete lack of any kind of equipment whatsoever, what he says is true.
Okay, so he is a badass.
He is a badass.
So he's a badass warrior. How good of a tactician is he?
I mean, he was acting as a battlefield commander in Terra until he was wounded.
Okay. So I'll say to Krench, Amon, Merrick, he is loud about it, but he speaks the truth.
And Aemon would know this as well.
And so I'll ask him, okay, well, what do you think our best course of action is? Should we go to Joffrey's Keep? Should we continue aiding and go along with the caravan, or should we pursue the elven raiding party?
He says, well, I would love to run down that elven scum, those elven scum. However, honor dictates that you obey the last commands of your lord. And I think we should see these poor people to the south. They've seen enough troubles.
I'm gonna look around the rest of the party, kind of giving a nod, but also kind of checking the temperature to see what they think.
I just kind of, because I'm sitting back and watching all this. I just kind of continue to observe, not indicating how I feel about any of it. I'm just observing.
I'm kind of stoic as well. I'm just kind of just watching. I might even actually turn back and start handling bodies again.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna nod and say, all right. Well, let's prepare to help these people on their way.
It's at this point that Chorster says, "Well, what about them?" And he refers to the people, the leftover people of this village.
I think that's kind of I mean, I'm not gonna say anything right now. Never mind.
Well, I think at this point, we're gonna have to decide if we have anyone here that's capable of leading, and get an idea of what they want to do. If any of them want, they can certainly join the caravan. But there's a high likelihood that if they raided and they left it alone, they left these people alone. I don't see any reason why they would come back. I don't see why. I believe they're out of danger at this point.
They might not come back, but bandits will.
Well, and it's also a matter of there's basically no able-bodied people left here.
Right.
They're not functional as a self-sustaining unit anymore.
Okay.
It's all the elderly and small children.
I'll turn to Joffrey and say, I believe you've inherited some new citizens to your fiefdom.
He says, "Well said. They're certainly welcome. However, we must ride hard." And Chorster says, "Well, I can lead them up there, so as not to hold you up." So Joffrey takes his party, which is Nora and the two pages, Harold and Charles, and they bid you farewell, and they begin riding off. Chorster starts to round up the remaining villagers and any beast of burden and food or valuables it may have for a convoy up there. And at this point, Lord Hughes and Sir Torald said, "You know what? We will accompany these people up north, and then we will ride hard and catch up with you on the road." Which they could certainly do. The two of them riding is going to move much faster than your convoy. It'll just take a few days for them to catch up.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan. Safe travels, friend.
All right. Well, what are you guys doing the rest of that evening as the parties break up and do their various things?
So the blacksmith is dead.
The blacksmith is.
Would I know if he had a direct inheritor or any family?
He lived here by himself. You're not really aware if he had any family. He did.
Apprentice.
You think he did not have an apprentice. He was recently from an apprentice and moved up, so he would no longer have to be as such. So he just hadn't married yet or had any children to speak of. You think he might have had a sibling, but you wouldn't know where to find them.
All right, well, I'm heading to the armory. I had something that I was planning on talking to the blacksmith about, but now that he's dead, I guess I'm just gonna walk into the place and see if they have what I'm looking for.
Well, what is it that you're looking for?
I'm looking for a great axe, a two-handed axe, if they have one.
Yeah, I think you could find it. It's not the finest piece of weaponry, but it's certainly functional.
Okay. No reason I couldn't carry that and my warhammer, right? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Not.
Then I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna grab it from the blacksmith and say, "Friend, I wish I could have paid you for this, but fortunately, it seems like your time has come to an end. I'll use it well."
Chorster is with Lord Hughes and Sir Torald is kind of rounding up the survivors. How are you, fine folk, preparing for your trip to the south?
Well, I would make sure that I had taken care of all of the bodies.
Oh yeah, actually, I'm glad you reminded me. There were 6.
6? Okay.
6.
So I would have dug them graves, done their rites, all that, buried them.
You guys hear Lucius. What did I call it? Uno momento, por favor. Make
I
sure
start
get-
speaking Spanish to the bodies.
Make sure I
Omne
get
de
my-
Christe.
You see Lucius prepare the graves and the last rites for the 6 deceased, and he plays flute or pan flute.
It would be normal flute,
No, so he
I guess.
gets out his flute and plays the song that all of you, except for possibly Merrick, have heard all of your lives, which is the Song of the Dead, beautifully, as all capable priests of Ilmater do. While Lucius is tending to his devoutly duties, what are the rest of you doing to prep for your trip?
How are we doing on supplies?
They're definitely low from coming over. They didn't have a chance to stock out too much, and they also came from a city under siege, so there really wouldn't have been too much to stock in the first place.
So I assume we're probably taking a day to
Sure.
get ready, and then we'll probably be heading out tomorrow. I would probably spend that time hunting, seeing if I can,
Well, and
find
I mean,
anything
you're
to
help
help
to go
us.
hunting, but there is food. I mean, it was a farming village, so there is
Okay.
food.
Well,
It's just
that's
a
what I
matter
meant
of-
by like supplies.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
are
it's
we
a
gonna
matter of-
survive this, or do we need more resources?
Yeah, you could just have to kind of spend time rounding it up through the village, getting, whatever bread there was around, any dried meats, vegetables, pickled vegetables.
Okay. Well,
water,
then I would spend
anything
time
like that.
helping people get ready, whether it's the caravan going north to Joffrey's or people that are coming with us.
Okay. The rest of you? Eamon?
Same thing.
Alright.
I'm making sure I got enough good berries prepared. That's important.
Fair.
Gotta have the good berries. And beyond having good berries, I'm quietly tending to the natural order of things.
Alright.
Let's see.
While you were in the blacksmith shop, by the way, you noticed both Turld and Hughes made a trip there as well. They'd at least like to have some semblance of rudimentary arms.
And even if I was in there at the same time with them, I'd be very approving.
Right. Well, I mean, they don't
No
want
reason to
long.
leave these here in this abandoned keep at this point.
Yep, they managed to find some kind of basic leather chest plates that fit. It's, not quite what they're used to, but it's certainly better than nothing.
I would also encourage others to go get any supplies they needed that were available, because they're just gonna be there waiting for no one at this point.
All right. So you guys spend the evening and the rest of the day prepping for the trip. The weather continues to go south. When you wake up in the morning, it's gray, dark clouds starting to mist and drizzle. Not quite raining, but it's definitely moist out, and that weather has kind of put a damper on the fire for the most part. And really, the only losses are most of the keep walls and Andre's house itself. So without any other things to do while you're here, the convoy is ready to set off. It's approximately 250 miles, 220 miles south to Hastow. So with a slow-moving convoy, you expect it to take something like 11 or 12 days to kind of slowly clop your way down there. Last call.
Let me see if I want to switch any spells. Would I know how readily available water is along the way, like drinking water?
Not particular. You would have to find a ground well usually, or maybe go out of your way to find a stream or something. You guys did manage to load up on a fair amount of fresh water, and the weather certainly looks like it's going to rain.
Yeah, I mean, I would
Okay.
assume that that's one of the things we were going to prepare.
You certainly have some water and some ale back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, did the tavern keeper survive all this?
No, there are two of the able-bodied peoples that are missing as well.
Ah, okay.
There's the husband and the wife.
Damn it. They wanted the ale. Damn elves are going to be so well kept.
As we begin our journey to the south once again, I need to know how you are traveling in the convoy.
I assume we have a cart, yes?
You have 13 carts, actually.
13 carts?
And approximately 100 refugees. Probably 30 to 40 of them are soldiers recovering from wounds to various degrees, and the rest of them are civilians. So
I
families,
will,
kids, adults.
I'll drive the lead cart.
Lead cart. Where are the rest of you as you travel to the south, within the confines of the convoy?
We'll be traveling around the perimeter, keeping an eye out. If I find anything worth hunting on the way out there, anything within reasonable distance, I would look to go after it, but mostly just keeping an eye out for anything approaching the caravan.
All right, Merrick and Eamon.
Given my movement speed, if I don't ride in a car, ride on a horse, am I able to keep up with these guys?
You'll fall behind. You got
Okay.
little legs.
Wow.
Stubby legs! Stubby legs!
Don't make fun of my legs. I will.
I mean, at the same time, they're actually going to be. I take that back. You could keep up. They're going to be clopping along pretty slow.
I kind of start looking at Lucius, and I hop in the cart with him, but I'm not really talking to him. I'm just kind of there.
All right, just sitting.
More just observing people still.
I like turn and look and see that he got in the cart next to me, and I look at him for a second or two, and then just back to the road.
All right. And
Which
Eamon, where did
is
you say
exactly
you
how I
were?
like it.
And where did Eamon say you were?
Just wherever. In the middle.
In the middle. All right. So you start the journey to the south. The weather continues to get worse. The second day, as the first night passes without incident, it's pouring rain, making the journey absolutely miserable for everybody involved. The road is turning into a mud. The horses are struggling. It's slippery. The kids can't walk on the roads anymore. They have to be put in the wagons or carried. The third day is even worse. It's just miserable slog through cold, big raindrops, very windy, making the road itself an absolute nightmare. How are you guys handling
How are we handling watch?
watch at night when you can't for the evening?
I'll take one of the watches.
Yeah, me too.
First watch, second watch, I don't care.
So you guys each just going to take a walk. You do have a watch. You do have some soldiers who are, somewhat okay. Maybe you get one or two of those guys to, split some of the watches with you, so you're not.
So, how injured are these soldiers? Or are they pretty not useful, or?
They would be marginally useful at best, and even when they're back again, they're not really equipped. I said that you guys did manage to get some hand weapons, so they're all going to have some kind of weapon that they would know how to use, but they don't really have any kind of armor or anything.
Okay, well, let's see. Let me check something real quick. I can prepare 5. Does that sound right?
What's that?
I have 5 spells.
Well, you would have 3 cantrips and 2 first level spells, probably.
Let me double check. That doesn't.
Cantrips you don't need to prepare. You just know.
Well, right. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Groovy.
Did we lose? Did Groovy Bot quit?
No. I reset it.
Ah.
Oh, by the way, if you have rain, now's the time, Jay.
Yeah, that's what I'm with you. I've even got a little something from Eric in there.
All right.
Let's see. Yeah, 2 first level spells. Okay. So as we're bedding down for the night, or getting ready for rest, I would, to each guard that I hadn't yet,
Kind of start working your way through them, basically.
do a healing word.
Okay. Is that what is the healing word with 1 hit point, or what is that?
It is a D4 plus my proficiency.
And that's a cantrip.
No, it is a first level spell.
Oh, okay.
So I can do it to 2 people at night.
All right, great. So you
So-
start slowly tending to the soldiers. So this is going to be night 3. So you'd have had night 1 and night 2. So you would have 4 at least, mostly functional soldiers to do and to have with you guys, sort of.
Can you like roll for anything? Or?
No, I mean they're metagame. They're first level soldiers. So 4d4 plus 1 hit points is probably going to get them up.
I meant like for our watches or anything.
Oh, well, no, if you're each just taking one, and when something happens, I mean, if something happens, I'll just, roll a d4 to see which one of you it affects.
Alright.
Alright, so you guys bunker down for the 3rd night. It is wet and cold. You're not able to get a fire going. Any bread you have left is just a soggy, unedible mess from the weather. It's just everybody is absolutely miserable. And let me.
I can do a bonfire.
Well, that would, if you could get a bonfire started in the middle of a torrential downpour, that would help a few people. But
If only I were had second level spells, I could do continual flame.
and you would have 100 people hovering around this little.
Hey,
I
I guess I can do
I-
a bonfire in a 5x5 and a 5-foot cube.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So let's
Theoretically, 8 people could bunch around that, right?
Merrick, you have last watch on the 3rd night.
Of course I do.
Make a perception check with disadvantage.
With disadvantage.
With disadvantage.
Because of the rain.
There's the wind and the rain.
So how do I do it with disadvantage? What does that mean?
You just when
You
you roll
roll-
2, how it rolls 2 like that, you just pick the lowest.
Okay.
Well, that helps. Okay. In that morning, you're not sure if it's a figment of your imagination or just the odd weather, but you think you see shadows to the south as you're taking watching over this group.
So we are down south at this point, right?
Right. So initially you started east of Terra, and you'd be heading almost directly south to Hastow. And this is the 3rd night of travel, the 2nd night of miserable, ugly weather.
So I go ahead and rouse Krench.
Alright.
All right.
What is it?
There are shapes on the horizon. People on the horizon.
Alright, so I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna start walking in the direction he indicated. Not going too far, but just kind of looking and walking slowly in that direction until I see anything.
Okay, make a perception check with disadvantage.
I have dark vision.
Even still.
Okay. So 12 plus perception would be 16.
16. You don't see anything out there. It seems like it's just a terrible, terrible storm.
Okay, I'll wait. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna wait for about 5 minutes, unless I see anything different.
No, nothing catches your eye or ear.
I'm gonna look back and kind of give him a shrug, like, oh, anything else, or?
I'm gonna go ahead and indicate that, I definitely saw something.
All right, I guess I'll just wait and see what's going on.
Okay. Make another perception check. And actually, with disadvantage, of course, Merrick, you as well.
That one is a 14. No, 12.
Oof. That's a natural 1.
Yeah, neither one of you see anything. The minutes go by, the hours, you're sitting there cold and wet.
I light a
After
fire.
about after about 10 minutes, I would have gone and laid back down. And I don't know if I would have been able to sleep, but I would have at least, resumed my sleeping position.
All right. Merrick, nothing else seems to catch your eye. You're not sure if you're crazy or is the storm a figment of your imagination. Maybe nothing. Maybe it's sitting out there watching you. So the morning of the 4th day arrives. The rain isn't quite as heavy, but it is definitely still raining. People are miserably getting up, and for all of the optimism that they had after you arrived with Turld and Lord Hughes, all of that has evaporated in the misery of the last few days. The convoy, quietly and stoically, starts working its way to the south again. The 4th night arrives as the day passes without incident. This night, once again, not quite as miserable as the night before. It's not quite as a downpour, but it is definitely still wet and raining. The 4th night passes without incident. You wake up to the 5th morning of the worst of the weather that you've had so far. It's actually the worst summer rains that any of you can remember in the region. It's just an absolute miserable. Progress is so slow to the south. You continue to slug your way down. And on the, would be in the twilight of the day, maybe shortly before you were due to stop for the evening. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Take 2. Un momento, por favor. My notes were incorrect. I was all ready to go. And what
So
I wrote
guys, roll 20. No, I'm kidding. Grendel will get that joke.
Yes.
Where is it? There we go. Oh, it was 1 page off, bastard. So the 2 of you in the front cart, which would be Lucius and Merrick, as you're thinking about the best way to stay dry this evening, both of you make a perception check.
Hopefully it's better than the last one.
Can't be much worse.
Let's see. I have proficiency
8.
in that.
Or is it 13 or is it 8?
It's
8.
If it's not advantage or disadvantage, it's always the one on the left.
Okay.
That is a 21 for me.
All right, Merrick.
I just rolled mine.
So 8 plus whatever your modifiers are. You're gonna have. Oh no, that's already included. Yours is 8. So you don't really see what happens, Merrick. You just hear the scream of the horse. Lucius, you see it in vivid color as quickly out of the ground, what burrows out of the ground, emerging with the horse in its mouth, is a large insectoid creature that emerges from the floor with the horse in its jaws. Knocks the wagon back. So both of you make a dexterity save, please.
Dexterity save.
And I needed to find
that's
some not so calming music. Let's see.
So I would roll the saving roll on the character sheet, right?
So 13 and 10. So Merrick, you managed to land safely in the muck as you are knocked off of the cart. Lucius, not quite as smooth, but you manage not to hurt yourself as you land on the ground. And the poor horse, not so lucky. And let's see here. So,
Oh, we're fighting a Hydralisk.
is it? Yeah, it kind of looks like that, doesn't it? Hold on a minute. Gotta do this.
Zoom out.
That's within 10 feet of me.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna smack it when I can.
Where am I in this mess?
Go ahead and roll initiative.
Initiative. Ooh. Gonna be an 8 for Krench.
So I'm rolling initiative too?
Yep, everyone.
Do I roll as a saving throw initiative, or how do I?
You roll. See, it's not working for me from the thing. So, what you do is you roll a d20 and add your initiative modifier.
Which is going to be your dex bonus, basically.
Unless you have
modifiers.
something. Right.
So my modifier is. Let's see.
That's a 12 for me.
All right.
So I'm running the. It's weird. I don't see initiative on here at all. That's interesting.
On the character sheet where it shows your strength, dex, con,
Yep, I just rolled it.
directly to the right of that.
I just rolled it.
18 for me.
You attempted to use a roll command.
There we go.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing for me. Just do /roll d20 and add it.
Okay.
All right, let's see.
/roll d.
Ooh!
And plus my modifier from dexterity is 3, so that's a 23.
I am confident that you are going first.
All right. Oops. Come on, man. Oh, that's because I missed. There we go. Like, why isn't it doing what I want it to do? Putting a thing in the wrong thing.
I'm figuring out the spots.
Yes, slowly I'm figuring out this thing too. Alright, let's see here. Eamon, initiative please.
I told you earlier, 18.
18. Merrick, initiative please.
21. I'm sorry, 23.
23. Krench, initiative please.
8.
8. Lucius, initiative please.
12.
12. Beautiful.
So the insects rolled a 3, is that what I'm understanding?
You are understanding that correctly. Alright, Merrick, your action is first.
Is this the only insect, or do I know about other insects?
You do not see any other insect.
So my first... Did my profile thing change? Like my...
Yes, it did, because the other one wouldn't fit with what I tried to do, so your picture's a little different now.
God bless it. I worked hard on my picture.
I know. Well, it's still in the bottom there.
That's what most people are seeing.
Yep. Okay. So, this is where I get. You have to, guys have to help me again as far as we get through the actions here. So I eventually have 4 actions, right?
No, you have
You have movement, you have action, you have bonus
movement
action.
and action, and you have certain things that you can do as a bonus action depending on your class and skill and such.
Okay.
So if you go to cast a spell, if it says bonus action, you can do it as a bonus action. If it does not, you cannot.
Oh, I should mention, due to the inclement weather, any ranged attacks are made at disadvantage due to the wind and rain. Also, due to the condition of the mud, the ground is considered difficult terrain, and if you take damage, you will have to make a dexterity save or slip and fall. Keep that in mind.
Not half movement though.
Well, half movement, yeah, because of the difficult terrain.
Okay.
Is this an accurate representation of where we actually are, or am I actually further
Yes.
away?
Nope, well, we're going to say that's accurate.
Okay.
And scattered on here and not pictured are various civilians.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's just the one right now, it's like.
The one.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and, for my first action, so I don't have any perception bonuses, so it probably makes sense for someone else to try to do the perception, I would think.
Perception.
Right, or-
Well, all it is you just basically didn't get a good vision. You didn't really see what it was, but you know it's there.
Okay.
I mean, you
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 saw
see it. You just didn't get a good shot of it, basically.
You got an explosion of mud and a horse scream.
Okay. So is
And
the
then,
horse
and then you were thrown off the cart.
so I'm not even sure if the horse is dead yet or anything.
Well, the horse is in the jaws of the thing.
Okay. So I don't, the horse is gone.
It's probably not coming back.
All right. So what I'm going to do to start is go ahead and going to throw entangling.
And
Cast
cast.
and cast entangling.
Was it entangling vines?
I believe so.
By the way, Goose, I can't move my guy. I don't know what my deal is.
Odd.
It's just called entangle.
Entangle. Okay.
Yeah, and grasping weeds and vines sprout from the ground in the 20-foot square, starting from a point within range. And range is 90 feet.
It says can be edited and controlled by Krench. That's bizarre.
I
I can't
mine
move
either.
my guy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's obnoxious.
I'm gonna reconnect, see
Can't
if
move
that
mine
helps.
either.
Hold on. Try something here. All right. Try now.
Nope.
That's obnoxious.
But you might have to move us for now.
Okay, well that's alright. Just ping where you want to go. Merrick, so you're casting Entangle.
Yes.
Spell. First, there's a verbal spend to so you have to maintain concentration. Grass spends your on the ground 20-foot square, starting from a point within range. So ping where is the starting point? A 20-foot square.
So 20-foot square, that means it's 4 blocks, right?
Yeah, I mean that would take the entire area of the creature.
Yep, so that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So, like that.
Yep.
Beautiful. Okay, creature for the duration. Use plants around the creature in the strong must make a strength saving throw or be restrained by the entangling until the spell ends. Creature restrained by the plants can use his action to make a strength check. Which spell does it succeed until the spell ends. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's Merrick's action. You can move if you want to.
I'm gonna go ahead and stay where I am. I feel like it's a... Well... Can I get back on the cart?
The cart's tossed. We're gonna say it's on its side.
Okay. Then I'll stay where I'm at.
All right, perfect. Eamon.
Am I right here or am I like?
No, you're actually there.
Alright, I'll move 6 spaces closer.
3 spaces.
Or 6, whatever my...
Because you have 30, normally that would be 6, but it's half. So 3 is a basic. If you're going to use a dash action, then it would be 6.
I'll actually use... Because I have bonus actions, which
Okay.
can be a dash as well, so...
Oh, yeah.
I'll use a double dash.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something like that.
Sure.
All right. Lucius.
He is within 10 feet of me. I'm gonna swing at him.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Let's see. Oh, I lost my character sheet when I refreshed. Give me just a sec. Da-da-da. So I'm gonna add proficiency plus strength for this, right?
Mhm.
That would make that a 16 to hit.
All right. As you see the little gnome twitch his fingers, and you don't hear him say anything because of the wind and the rain. You see his mouth move. Vines shoot out of the ground and pin the creature down. You pull out your glaive? Question
Yeah.
mark?
I'm gonna try to stab between carapaces, kind of like a two-hand overhand stab type thing.
And you bring it down on it, connects, and it seems to pierce right through the hardened carapace for amount of damage.
Which will be determined by your roll right now.
So
Oh.
it barely pierces the carapace
That's 3 damage.
for a whopping 3 damage. Alright, that brings up the civilians. The civilians in the nearby area are running for their lives. A couple of the soldiers who were back over here that you healed up are trying to run over here and help you out, but they're a little further away. Come on, soldier guy, don't fight with me. All right, Krench.
I want to go right there. Why won't it even let me ping?
Hold the pin.
Oh, right there. So that would be 30.
Okay. Is that the dash? Remember, you have movement.
That's true. Wait, sorry. Oh, so I'm at half movement?
Half movement because of difficult terrain.
Okay, so yeah, that would be movement and dash to get me there then.
All right.
I don't know how Amon is so much faster than me, but that's alright.
It's one of my abilities is every combat round I'm allowed to disengage, dash, or something else. So I was able to take my regular movement as a dash, and then on top of that, do a dash again.
Oh, nice.
And with that being said, I'm going to go get an Ursoda. I'll be right back.
All right. The insectoid creature finishes chomping on his lunch, spits out the carcass, and then roars in frustration at being pinned down by these vines. Oops. And what is the spell DC on your spell, Merrick?
So you would add,
Proficiency
Your-
in wisdom to 8.
right.
Wait a minute, was I on a horse? I was on a horse, wasn't I?
I don't know. You tell me. Were you on a horse?
Yeah, I would have been.
All right.
So then I guess I would go to
Well, are you
there.
going to stay on the horse or are you going to dismount?
Well, for now, I'd be on the horse, yeah.
All right.
Until I get there. Is the horse hindered to have speed?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, then I would have made it to there. It's not much, but, you know,
So where to? Ping it again.
right there. Okay. The
You're
horse
on-
is on me.
Yeah, I was gonna say horse.
That's
you're
how
the horse's
strong
butt.
I am.
You're carrying the horse. It's making you move fast.
Thank you, horse.
I'm sorry. All I did was walk into hearing carrying the
Yes. Things happen while you're gone.
it doesn't surprise me.
So what's the DC on your spell now?
DC on what? I'm sorry.
Your spell. So it should be
So-
8 plus your proficiency plus your wisdom bonus.
So on my sheet here, my save DC, it says 14. Is that right?
That sounds right. 8.
Yeah.
What's your wisdom bonus for?
I'm looking. Hang on, guys. I'm sorry. Wisdom
Oh,
is
okay.
yeah 18. I have an 18 wisdom and a bonus of 4.
So that would make it a 14 plus your proficiency is 2, so that would make it 14. Is correct.
Okay. So do I do anything with that, or just that's just my
Well, no,
DC?
that's how hard it is for the creature to break out of your spell.
So it's got to roll an 18 to get out of my spell.
No, it has to roll a 14 or
14.
above.
14.
14 or above, yeah. So it spends its turn flexing in rage and ripping through the vine. And now it is Merrick's turn again.
So it's out of the vines.
It is out of the vines.
Son of a bitch.
I mean, you got a whole turn out of it. Huge.
I could cast it again, right?
Just remember, you have a limited number of first level spells. So you get to cast 3 first level spells before you need a long rest.
Right. So, what I'm gonna do now is I am going to cast Bonfire on where it's at.
All right. So is that a cantrip or a first level?
It's a cantrip.
Cantrip. Okay. I gotta learn your guys' spells too. This will go a little faster as I learn what you guys
And
can.
I roll 1d8.
Let's see.
So it's a spell attack. It sounds like, or no, it's a save. It's got to be a save.
It's a save.
The spell is called Bonfire.
DC, yeah.
Yes, create Bonfire.
Create Bonfire. That is a big difference.
I put it in my.
That'd be all the way down in the seas.
I know, but now I'm flipping through the player's handbook to find it. That's why.
That's in the other one, the elemental one.
That also explained. We did this last time, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
I put the
Okay,
description
so
is in my character sheet if that helps.
it probably does. Let's check that out. Spellbook. Cantrips. There it is. You create a bonfire on the ground so the spell ends.
Dex save.
Makes a dexterity save. Okay, so it has to make a dex.
So I roll 1d8, right?
Dexterous is this giant worm. Dexterous.
Dexterous. So save 14. It does not make the save, so go ahead and roll your d8 damage.
Oh shit.
So you set its pinky toe on fire.
Wait, I just said roll 1d8. That's not me, dude. I didn't do it. Didn't roll.
Oh, who rolled that?
I don't know. It just said rolling d10.
That was mine.
Oh.
My attack.
How do I roll? I'm not.
Slash roll 1d8.
8.
Oh.
Hey.
There we go.
Do you get to add anything to that? Let's see.
I don't think so. Didn't when I glanced at it, it didn't say that. Let's see.
Yep, just 1d8.
Or ends its turn there. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So Merrick once again twitches his little fingers and his mouth moves, but nobody hears anything. And then a small roar of flame appears at the creature's feet, or well, what's torso as it's emerging from the ground, and it screams in pain as fire goes throughout its body before Aemon goes.
Alrighty. So normally I can go 6 on full
Right,
movement, right?
Correct. So it's basically each square is 10 instead of 5 as far as movement is counted. So range it's actually 5, but as far as counting your move it's 10.
Right. So if I do the same thing, I can move 9
Well, you
squares.
go 1, 2,
total?
3 regular, dash 4, 5, 6, dash a
Dash.
second time 12.
Okay.
Two
Does
dash
that give you 12 or just another 3? I'm not sure.
What does the dash action say in the player's handbook?
Hold on.
I don't think it doubles your entire movement. I think it just lets you move one more time.
Good question. Let's find out. That does make a difference. Good call.
Don't be helping Brian on this.
Well, that cuts both ways when I do it, though.
Page 192.
Dash. When you take the dash action, you gain extra movement for the current turn. The increase equals your speed, so you're correct. So you would go 3, 6, and then you can go 9.
Okay.
If you were to dash and then take a bonus action. Or you could take a bonus action of a dash, move 6, and still have an action.
I'm gonna move here.
Right above Lucius?
Yep.
Is that all your movement?
I have more, but I'm gonna wait.
Okay. That brings us to Lucius.
I will cast Toll the Dead on him. He needs to make a Wisdom save of plus 13.
Wisdom save of 13. Okay, he fails. Do you say?
Since he has taken damage, that is 1d12. 3 damage.
That's my that's my bonfire. By the way. I'm sorry. You said how much? 3?
Yeah, just 3 damage. I don't think it adds anything else to it. Yeah, no, it's just a d12.
All right. The civilians continue to run the other direction, except for our 2 brave. 1, 2, 3.
2 brave cannon fodder. I mean, soldiers.
Our 2 brave healed soldiers, and now Krench.
I'm just gonna be like, shit, why is everything always so far away from me when it happens? I'm gonna keep on riding, so I got 40 spaces forward, so I'm just gonna go straight up 8 forward. So that's...
Where does that put you?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be right there. Alright.
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, Krench insect. So this is the insect's second round. Hold on a moment. Let's get this one and. Hey.
Did it get smaller?
No, but it's no longer emerging from the ground now. It has emerged.
Oh, submerged? Oh, it has emerged.
It has
it's completely out.
emerged. Right.
Ooh.
Okay, so it moved out of my melee range. I would like to make an attack of opportunity.
You are correct. That is a good. Well, go away. There we go. Go ahead and make an attack of opportunity.
That's 13.
I do not believe that hits. Let me double check. It does not. You swing your glaive, and it seems to bounce harmlessly off of the hardened carapace of the creature.
Gotta stick to stabbing. Stabbing works better.
Okay. It charges at Merrick. And rolls a 19 to hit.
What teen?
19 on Merrick.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that hits.
Pretty sure that would hit too.
So what do I need to roll to
Nothing right now. You just got to let me know if that's higher than your armor class or not.
my armor class is a 14.
So that will hit. You take 9 points of slashing damage.
So I take 9 points.
Uh,
So that means that I'm down to 7.
Probably.
So I put 7 on my character sheet. Okay.
Whoops, that was incorrect. Un momento. Plus 2 points of poison damage.
Can I be poisoned?
And currently, the creature has picked you up and it is holding you in its jaws as it chews on you. The poison damage is the acid as it's trying to eat you and digest you. So you are currently grappled.
Well, that sucks.
Merrick, it is your turn.
Turn into a whale.
I was just looking at beasts. Give me a moment, please.
Oh, also, you need to make a concentration check to see if your bonfire goes away.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn into a. I don't know. I'm gonna try to figure this out. I'm gonna turn into a bear, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would still be grappled, but you would be a grappled bear instead of a grappled gnome. Can you do that as a bonus action or a regular action?
It's a bonus action, I believe.
Okay. So that still gives you your regular action, and I believe that gives you the bear's hit points, not your own, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because the bear's hit points.
Perfect. Okay, so go ahead and make a concentration check first to see if the bonfire goes away.
So I would roll just a regular.
Yeah, always, pretty much always a d20 unless it's damaged.
Okay.
It's D20 plus con, I think.
Let's find out.
So I rolled a 12.
Where is it? Concentration. I don't see.
My concentration would be 2, so that'd be 14. Or my score's already, so my modifier's 2.
I know. Hold on. Actually, I don't know what the DC is. I think it's damage taken, unless it's 10. So how much damage did you take that round? It was like, pretty sure it's damage taken or 10, whichever is higher. So you took, what'd you take? 9, 11 damage that round?
Yeah.
DC is 10 or half of the damage you take, whichever
Okay,
number
the
is
DC
higher.
The DC would be 10 because it wasn't 20. So you rolled higher than 10. The spell is still there. And now to escape grappling. Oh, I just had that page open and I closed it, but I have it right here again. You can attack the creature should you choose from grappling.
So
but you can't-
what does it mean to be grappled? Like, if I'm inside his mouth, can I start ripping open his like?
Yeah, you can try to
his mouth?
escape from the grapple. You can attack it.
So being grappled means you can't move. You can still attack, you just can't move,
Or I can try to escape from the grapple.
But you can escape from the grapple as well.
which would cost an action,
Correct.
which means you wouldn't be able to attack.
Correct.
Hmm. So, one question: since I shift into the into the bear, they have 34 hit points, and then they have a 4d10 plus 12.
So what that
Right.
means is the what was the first number?
34.
So 34 is the average. So you can either take the average or roll its hit points. So for our purposes, we're just going to give you the average.
Okay, that's fair. All right, cool. So I'm trying to understand.
All you'll see, like when you start, if you ever look up monsters, they all have that. They have a number and then a calculation. And it's like the DM, you can just take the average, or if you want to roll and maybe get a little. You can.
Okay.
So Merrick, Bear Merrick.
Mm-hmm.
Barrack.
Is
so
the bear a large creature, by the way?
Yes. Large beast. So am I still gonna fit in this guy's mouth now that I'm a freaking bear?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
He's just chewing on part of you now instead of all of you.
He's not swallowing you whole.
So I'm gonna take my claws and try, since I'm in his mouth, I'm gonna try to rip out from inside of his mouth, rip out his head.
Okay, go ahead and make your bear attack.
Okay, so bear attack. I'm looking at it right now. So I roll a 1d8. Is that right? Or
No, it's always to attack. It's always a d20.
okay, sorry.
No, it's all good, dude.
Apologize,
Still learning.
dudes.
Still learning.
It's all good.
Basically, any skill check that you're going to do, attack roll, is going to be a d20. And the only time you're going to roll something else is going to be like damage.
So I rolled a 14, and the bear has a strength modifier of +4. Does that make it an 18?
That should, yeah. I'm trying to get to the bear stats here. So I
It's
Are
on
you
page
proficient
3.
in bear attacking?
I'm sorry. What page did you
Proficient
say
in
it was?
bear.
It's on 304.
304. Of which, the monster manual or the
Player's
player's
handbook.
handbook? Aha. Aha.
Am I allowed to attack while I'm on a mount?
I didn't think that you were a Yuan-Ti. That didn't make any sense.
Yes, Jay, you can attack while you're on a mount.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
And the mount's movement is independent of your actions as well.
Yeah, well, what it is you can choose to, rather than controlling the mount, you can choose to attack. So once you choose to attack rather than controlling the mount becomes independent.
But you can use a mount to disengage if you're skilled in using a mount.
Correct. All right, so you're a brown bear, right?
Yes.
So you actually can make 2 attacks, one with the bite, one with the claw. You rolled your claw attack first, So that gives you a +5. You rolled a 14, so that gives you a 19, which would hit. Go ahead and roll 2d6 damage.
2d6 damage.
All right, plus your strength, I believe.
So it's +4 plus 19. Which one?
No.
Plus
No,
4.
your strength bonus +4. Plus
Okay, so-
19 would be gross.
Yeah, so 12.
Correct. So it does 12 points of damage.
And then I get the bite too, right?
And then you get a bite attack as well, correct? And that is also with a +5.
So I'm gonna roll again. So roll
Mhm.
2
D20. Nope, D20 +5.
plus 5.
14.
14 does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Awesome, man. So my 13 just missed.
Yes, it did.
And so I'm rolling 2 now.
Yep. No,
Again.
no, the bite is 1d8 +4.
1d8. Sorry. 6.
+4 is 10.
10.
It's a lot of damage in one round.
It is. That's what happens when you have a bear attacking something.
Don't fuck with the gnome.
So you see in the insect's mouth, the gnome turns into a giant brown bear and starts tearing it apart from the inside of the mouth, ripping at its jaws and its eyes. The thing is bleeding profusely and roaring in pain, but refuses to let go of the bear. That brings up Eamon.
Come kill this
Alright.
fucking thing.
I'm going to right now. I'm going to use dash to move there.
All right, now you realize you're going into the fire. I think that would affect him. I'm
Oh, I
pretty
thought the
sure.
fire was out.
Nope,
Nah, it's
fire's
still
still
going.
going.
Okay. I go here.
All right, so there.
Because I could still attack him. I'm
Sure.
still next to him within melee
Totes,
from there,
absolutely.
right? Okay, cool. Now, considering that the bear is in its mouth, we could make the argument that it is within 5 feet, right?
The bear is, or the ant?
Both of them are within 5 feet of each other.
Yes.
Did you just call it an anteater?
No, it's not an anteater.
All right, so I'll attack
Okay.
with my rapier, which
Alright.
if I hit, I get sneak attack. Sorry, I'm trying to find my actual attack on here.
And you get sneak attack because.
It's
let me read it
engaged
off
in
to you.
melee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once per turn, you can deal an extra 1d6 damage to one creature you hit with an attack if you have advantage on the attack roll, or you don't need advantage on the attack roll if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of that.
Okay, perfect.
So,
Makes perfect sense.
That.
Okay, so that's 15, and oh, nice. The damage is already there. That's beautiful.
Yep.
All right, so you-
And hold on, I gotta roll d6. Sorry, trying to find this.
Damn it.
So Eamon took the long way around, sloshing through the rain and the mud, finally runs up behind the back of the creature, and as if out of nowhere, jumps at him and plants the rapier deep into its back, right between a couple of the, what would be the joints of the carapace, and the creature roars and falls to the ground defeated.
I look at the bear and tell him not to eat me.
Okay, so I have a question.
Fire away.
So that happened within 3 turns, right?
Mhm.
Like we're coming up on my turn on the third
This
turn.
is the third pass right here. This would be your third turn.
So
Kill the horse, dude.
technically, the horse would have had 2 death saves at this point.
I mean, I guess I could roll the damage. I would argue that it.
I'm gonna spare
probably-
the dying the horse. The horse won't die.
All
I
right,
mean,
well,
that's
let me-
assuming that the horse didn't die outright. That's
right.
kind of
that's
up to Mongoose whether or not
the
stuff
massive,
actually gets
massive
saving
damage.
rolls.
You know what? I'll go through the trouble of rolling it. Hold on a minute.
Oh, having a horse matters.
I know. That's what I said. I'm gonna go through the trouble of rolling it. Oh, I actually have the stats written down, so I don't need to look it up. Hold on. Uno momento. So 13.
I'm sharpening my axe so we can start chopping it apart for meat.
I'm gonna
Oh yeah,
test something.
that
Hold
roll.
on.
Okay, so it would have at max failed 2 death saves. So the horse, what's left of it, is lying on the ground unconscious, writhing in pain.
Yep, spare the dying. It won't die. It's stable.
So is it stable with 0 hit points still, though, right?
Yeah, it's just stable.
You're
It
gonna
doesn't
have
have
to-
to make any death saves. It's good.
You're gonna have to heal it though, unless we're planning on putting it on one of these wagons.
So that
I
was
got
We
good
got
berries.
berries.
I got good berries.
All right.
the civilians kind of jog up to see what's going on. And
So why don't you do a perception check to see if we can figure out if there's any more of these fuckers around?
and right,
I think I think I can do a perception check.
right as you guys are starting to do that,
Ah, shit, another one.
God damn.
Oh,
Oh.
2 more.
Hey, that one's right on
I
top
think
of
it's
me.
a normal. No, yeah, it is a big one.
so let's see. This one right here starts chomping on the horse right away. Let's go ahead and roll this other one over here.
And that one's got me.
Goose is
Oh, good.
determined to kill one of our horses.
That's true.
Why does he hate the horses?
Healing word on the horses.
The most important thing here, of course, is if this thing's going after the horse that's under me, what's gonna happen to me?
Krench, make a dexterity save, as the horse is crunched out from under you.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, dex save is gonna be 18.
All right, so you do manage to not fall on and hurt yourself, but you are dismounted.
And it's right in front of me. I'm shaking with anticipation.
And Merrick, the bear, is next.
So as a brown bear, am I affected by the sloshing like
So
everyone
wait,
else?
we were on Eamon's turn,
Huh?
and then we just
Kill the creature.
reset it
Lucius
all the
cast-
way around to the insects, and now we're back
Well,
at the top.
Lucius cast
I
Call the
did.
Dead. The
No,
civilian
I did.
food,
I did spare the dying.
or spare
on
the
the
die.
horse.
That's right.
So I
that
made
was
my
my turn.
dexterity saving throw. Do I get a turn, or?
Nope, because they appeared on their own turn.
Okay,
So now it's Merrick's turn.
I gotcha.
So I am going to rush at the one that is next to Krench.
That one.
Yeah. And I am going to maul this guy. Like, I'm talking just massive
All
swipes
right.
at his. I'm trying to rip off its jaw. Like, I want his jaw just gone.
Go ahead and make your 2 attack rolls.
Okay, so I do a 1d20.
Mhm.
13.
Plus 5, right?
I believe so, right? Plus 5 to hit, yeah. So 18. And then I roll a 2d6.
2d6 for the claw, right?
Mhm,
Yep.
2d6 plus 4?
Plus 4.
3?
Plus 4. So that's a 10.
Ooh. So that's 14.
14 damage.
Trying to rip off its face. Or its jaw. Like, I'm really going for it.
My turn.
And then I'm,
Nope, he still's got a bite attack.
and I'm gonna bite it. I'm gonna bite off. Try to bite off one of its arms. Because I'm pissed. So I'm gonna roll a d20. Ooh, that was bad.
So that does not hit.
That's a
So
13.
13 does not hit.
Okay.
So you see the bear charge in, and it's like a giant ant fighting with the brown bear. The brown bear just rips into it with its claws. The creature rears back and dodges a bite of its mighty jaw, allowing Hammond to act.
Okay, I'm gonna test something real quick. So just roll. Nope, that didn't work.
Okay.
Although I think I know how I can do it. Okay. I'm assuming if I try to move here, would I provoke a attack of opportunity?
No, because it's only when you leave its range.
I go here.
Okay. Well, in difficult terrain, are you gonna dash that far?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my extra to dash.
Okay, so you move action and then your bonus action, leaving you a regular action, right?
Correct.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. There's your regular.
Right.
4,
5, 6.
5.
And then I'm going to attack. Now, we're technically flanking, so we get advantage on
You
this
would
now,
get
right?
advantage, correct? Mhm.
Hey.
Hey, you like that, don't ya?
2 5s. 2
Uh,
5s.
there it
Deuce
is.
fives.
I don't see any logs around here right now.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice.
22 to hit. I think that's good. Is that a
That'll do it.
crit?
No,
Oh, okay.
No.
it'll have a green box if it's a crit.
Ah, and it'll probably calculate it still on the damage when
And
you're
it
doing
did
that.
the damage for you too.
And you have sneak attack, though, right? Or no?
Another 2.
Whatever.
I
2
think
points.
I think
2
he gets
points,
sneak
boys.
attack automatically when he's got advantage. So
So,
or if it's
do.
engaged.
yeah, either way. Emin kind of vaults over the toppled wagon, dashes around the back, and once again starts picking at the weak spots in the carapace, this creature howling in pain.
You all see what happens when there's no magical log?
Lucius, you're up.
I am moving to right here. And I am going to Toll the Dead this guy. He needs to make a wisdom save,
Which guy?
13 plus.
Oh, this guy here?
Yeah.
Alright. No, Toll the Dead is ineffective.
Oh, he made the save?
He did.
Okay, nothing happens.
The civilians. This one turn around. Ah!
Poor
And,
bastard.
I know. They bravely, if foolishly, charge in.
I want the Anduin pull ability.
Oh, random civilian number 1 rolls a natural 20.
hey,
Random soldier number 2 whiffs horribly, but his damage. So this guy here charges in screaming mightily and sticks his spear right in the middle of the carapace. The creature howls angrily as it does 8 points of damage.
nice.
You good?
Krench, the mighty, finally.
At long last, yeah. I'm gonna attack the guy right in front of me, but first I'm gonna kind of channel my anger at all of that's gone on in the last couple days. The thoughts of my home being ruined, and I'm gonna roar as I use my bonus action to rage, and then I'm going to take my two-handed axe. I'm gonna slice starting from like lower right, slashing upwards to upper left.
All right, go ahead and roll to hit.
And so I get advantage because we're flanking.
Correct.
That guy's flanked to like shit and back.
Yeah, so that is a 22 to hit.
That will hit.
And so D12 now with my axe. So that is 13 points of slashing damage. And then I will move to here.
Howls in anger, and I mean almost cleaves the thing head clean off, and it's battered and bruised, but not quite there yet. You said here.
No, then I guess I'll go here if it's not
Yeah,
dead.
so
yet.
that would provoke attack of opportunity if you moved up.
Yeah, so I'll go there. That's far enough.
All right.
Do you get more than one attack yet?
Not yet. Level 5.
All right.
Well,
that
maybe
is
level
Kren-
4. We'll see.
That is Krench's move. This one moves to here, provoking 1 attack of opportunity from our hero over here.
Oh, now they got you flanked, Krench.
Yeah.
Does not quite hit. He lands his spear blow, but it doesn't seem to pierce the hardened carapace of the creature. He this one. You see him seem to take his head and rear back and spit a line of acid. Hold on, I gotta make sure I can do a line here for you guys. There. So that means Krench. Wait, 1, 2, 3.
I don't. Was there a line?
Do you guys not see the line?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Ah,
You don't see it? Okay. Well, there is a line, John. Hold on.
So this is from the bottom right. Well, okay. So that's
Okay,
gonna
okay.
hit. That's gonna hit his own guy, though, right?
Correct. Yeah, I suppose it would.
His
So-
compatriot, yeah.
Yep, everybody in that line needs to make a dexterity save with disadvantage.
So, because of my traits, for my orc trait, I have advantages on dexterity saving throws that I can see.
So you
Is
would
this-
definitely see this. So you, instead of disadvantage, you now have normal.
Just a straight roll. Okay. 12.
Ooh.
Okay.
I fail.
And Eamon?
Hold on, I'm looking to see where I can do this. That?
You fail.
Well, he has probably pretty high dex bonuses.
He rolled an 8 and an 8
That
though.
is my dex bonus.
Oh, right. You don't add them.
Yeah, that
Correct,
calculates
yeah.
it, yeah.
I forgot about. I keep forgetting about that. I'm used to always adding numbers.
Yeah.
All right, so that means everybody failed,
What
How'd the
was the
creature do?
save?
except for actually the insect did make it. But
Oh,
everybody
of course.
Awesome.
That's
else.
so
Each of the
normal.
So it's going to be. So actually, he still takes half damage. So this creature here. Actually, I did not mean to do that. Let me get my little. This creature here, even though he actually passed his dexterity save, the acid splatters all over it, and he slayed his friend anyway.
Nice.
But the rest of you take 13 points of acid damage.
Whew.
Oof.
Oh, lordy.
Ouch. It's nasty.
We lost music.
We lost music bot.
When do you have to make a death saving throw? Only when you're dying, right?
When you're at 0.
Okay. Y'all suck.
Well, are you at 0?
No.
Well, it's,
Am I-
it's actually it's not when you get to 0. It's when you start your turn at 0 hit point.
I'm really close.
Okay, Merrick, you are up.
Well, I'm obviously not cool with what's going on here.
Why did the groovy
Yeah.
back offline? Jeez.
I'm going back. I'm going straight at that bastard.
Okay, go ahead and roll to hit.
So I'm rolling a d20 for claws.
Yep, d20 plus 4, 5,
It's an 18.
18, and then go ahead and roll damage. That's going to be
Actually,
2d.
that's a 19.
So 2d6 plus 4
Or
if
18,
we're
18,
doing claws
yeah,
first.
18. Yeah, 18. Sorry. 2d6. Boom. Oof.
6, so that's 10 points of damage. And then go ahead and roll to hit on your bite attack. That'll do.
Yeah.
That's a good
And now
lord.
8 plus 4 for the bite.
8 plus 4. 7.
Once again, the bear charges in and just dives onto this thing, slashing and tearing, green and slime and blood splattering everywhere. That brings us to Eamon.
As he's hurting.
Too bad I didn't drop some good berries on the ground before I turned into a bear.
All right. Oh, this is a bad idea. Eamon's gonna use dash to go there, and then he's gonna attack.
I will say, technically, Andrew was flanking. He should have had advantage on both of those attacks. He might
Yes,
have rolled a natural 20.
Oh, I suppose that is all true. We'll keep that in
So
mind.
roll 2 more d20, see if you get a 20, Andrew.
Sure. What the hell?
It's like roll them together.
Yeah, just roll
Sure.
two.
Nope.
Close.
Close.
All right.
All right.
Now you realize what you just did, Aaron, is you just cost Andrew a 19 and a 17 on his next 2 rolls.
Yes, I'm tired of him getting all the glory.
Eamon, go ahead and roll your attack rolls with advantage.
Thought it went. There it goes. Oof.
Those do not do anything. In fact, you don't even connect with the creature. Never mind, it's Carapace saving it.
Foomp, foomp.
In your weakened state, you can't even seem to see straight, and you, as you're seeing double, you apparently are attacking the wrong Ankeg. Lucius.
Okay. Did I see how far his acid spray shot?
Exactly to where you are.
I'm gonna back up to right here.
All right.
Ah, shit.
It's annoying.
I'm trying
that
to
it-
erase it.
Oh, only I can. Only I can.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to back up 5 feet so that doesn't happen again, and I am going to attempt to toll the dead on it again. So it needs to make a wisdom save.
You know what I realized I've been forgetting this whole time is every time you guys take damage, you're supposed to be taking a dexterity save. So we'll have to remember that now. It fails. Go ahead and roll damage.
Yeah. 8.
All right. You hear a soft. Actually, with the rain, you probably don't hear much of anything, but it seems to howl in pain at some unforeseen assailant. That brings up the civilians. We're gonna call this guy Charlie Hustle because he actually got work done.
I like Charlie.
They both roll, and actually, Jabroni number 2 here gets some work done, and actually fells the creature.
Nice.
Did he really fell it, or did he just
He
kind
did
of
it.
poke it
Yeah,
over when it was almost dead?
He ran at it, put his spear right where it needed to be, and the creature falls down blank.
Well, a couple of us got kind of low there. I have 3 hit points.
Yeah, by the way, so I'm currently playing music for... Oh, wait a minute. Groovy came back. Never mind.
Yep, he's back.
Okay.
He's back.
Groovy's back in town. So, might this be a good time for us to take a break?
You know, it's actually funny. I was going to say, and with that, we take a break. You
All right.
literally took the words out of my mouth. 5 minutes. Good? 5 minutes?
5
Yeah,
minutes
5
sounds
minutes.
great.
All right.
I like being a bear.
I like when you're a bear too. You're fucking shit up.
FYI, because I see Brian has already taken off his headset, I'm
Mhm.
gonna try to take the dog outside to pee real quick, so I might be a little bit longer than 5.
Okay, cool.
Alright. We'll be back. And we're back.
All right, as you guys lick your wounds and survey the battlefield, the two soldiers are clapping themselves on the arms for service well performed and the fact that they are not dead.
They didn't even get injured, did they?
They did not, no.
Miraculously.
I imagine if that thing had acid sprayed them, they'd be puddles right now.
That is probably a true statement.
Alright, so I'm going to instruct those who didn't get injured. Because I kind of feel like at this point I'm almost the pseudo-leader of this caravan. Like, at least, you know, a lot of the people that are, like, from, you know... Well, actually, I guess none of the people from our village came on this, in this caravan. Never mind. I'm just gonna, you know, prepare to rest while everybody gets organized again, and maybe help out where I can. But do you think we'll be setting up long enough to take a short rest here?
Well, you guys were getting close to the end of your traveling day anyway.
Okay.
So, I mean, it just makes sense to stop a half hour early and settle in for the night anyway.
Right.
Were either of the other two horses savable?
Well, only one more.
What's up?
hit,
Sorry.
but it wasn't savable. You saved the one, but not the second.
Well, there was one under the Jason was riding, and then the other one came up under the other horse under the
Oh,
wagon.
you're correct. We'll say one of them was savable.
Okay, so I would spare the dying that horse as well,
All right.
and I don't want to healing word them. I want to healing word. Who took the most damage? Who's low on health?
Probably Amon.
I'm at total
Alright,
Here,
10.
how
I'm
many
alright.
total?
4 hit points.
4 hit points. Okay. So I am going to.
Well, I mean, assuming your long rest isn't interrupted, you guys will be at all full hit points in the morning.
Well, right, but it might be interrupted.
That's true. It might.
And at that point,
So-
they're gonna get all their spell slots back anyway. So.
Also
Well,
true.
in the next morning, yeah. So I am going to heal. Healing word, Amon. You get 3 hit points.
Score.
I'll take it.
So, I have my my usual amount of good berries hanging out, which is at least 10. And you cast that spell 2 more times to make 30 good berries, and I hand them out to the team.
So now you guys have 30 extra hit points to distribute amongst yourselves.
Okay, I will eat 13 of them.
And you know what? They're really good berries.
Krench, are you healed? Are you good?
I can take up to 13 berries if you have those.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. So now we've got 26 berries. And how are you doing, Amon?
Sorry. I think I'm 10 shy.
So you've got 4 more. So you've got
11.
I'll hit you with another healing word.
But also for resting, you know, we can use hit dice.
You get
start,
4.
and- yeah.
Merrick,
So
also
you-
go ahead and make a what's the check? I mean, I've got to look at the character sheet every time. A nature check.
Make a nature check.
Mhm.
All right. 15.
You know what the creatures are now that you get a good look at them.
Okay.
Their ant kegs are functionally giant ants. Their hide, though, is sometimes valuable for some of the tribe, you know, like the orcs, the kind of tribal forest peeps, because they can make armor out of it if they know what they're doing.
What is it called? They're called an ankid?
Ant keg.
So how do you spell that? I'm just curious. Ankid. Okay. And that's probably in the monster manual, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you guys are settling in for a rest.
I will take first watch.
I can do
I'm
second.
pretty much out of spells.
Anybody else specifically, or am I rolling if it comes up?
I'll take second.
I'll take third.
All right. So Krench would take fourth.
Mhm.
You guys settle in for the evening. Another wet, cold, miserable night. You think some of the little chillins are starting to get sick at this point, just constantly outside in this pouring wet weather. Other than the misery of the evening and sleeping well, the night does pass without incident. In the morning, are you guys carrying on, or anything specifically you'd like to do?
I think we should try to get this stuff off the ink kegs, right?
I mean, you can stop and try to spend some time cutting some of the carapace off if you choose to, sure.
Is there room on the carts for us to load them up and have him do that while we're traveling on the carts?
Probably not, with all the supplies and kids and people on there.
I think as much as I think it could be useful to have these, I really think our priority has to be trying to get these people where they need to go as fast as possible.
The only thing I think we should do is we should look in the ink kegs. Like, did their tunnels remain? Like, do they still have the holes and whatnot?
Yeah, you guys can go dive in what's left. They're probably going to be a muddy, sloshy mess as it's been pouring rain all night. So I don't know what kind of condition they'll be in, but I mean, you could go take a look if you really wanted to.
I'd be worried about cave-ins.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't go in.
Right. Okay. That's a good idea.
So you're just going to check it out, or are you guys going to just carry on?
So, it's morning now, right? So we have all
Yeah,
of our
it is
spells back?
Correct. Long rest successful.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of go just between the between the two, where the two cakes came from, and I'm gonna place my hand on the ground and use thaumaturgy to create some tremors, and just for about a minute, see if anything comes of it.
Nothing seems to happen.
Okay. I'm satisfied that there's no more.
And I'm ready to go if everyone else is.
I'll climb on my wagon and wait for everyone else to be ready to go.
All right, day 6 starts off. The weather finally seems to be breaking a little bit throughout the day, and by that evening, it's at least not raining anymore. The next couple of days pass fairly uneventfully. So on day 8 of your 12-day journey, the weather has largely cleared up. It's still pretty muddy and slimy. The sun hasn't quite dried out the landscape yet, but at least everybody themselves is dry. And you can start a fire probably tonight for the first time this evening. Are you guys still in your same marching order? Eamon and Merrick in the front, and Krench and Lucius somewhere in the middle?
I was in the front with Merrick.
What did I say? That's what I meant.
You said amen. And
Amen.
Oh, exactly. In that case, ignore it. Lucius and Merrick in the front, and Eamon and Krench somewhere in the middle.
I'm gonna start traveling near the front.
Okay.
You didn't like being in the back?
So the road now kind of travels a little bit closer to the wooded area as it winds its way down. The three of you in the front make a perception check.
Perception check.
That'd be a no for me, dog.
No.
Oh Jesus! I rolled a fucking amazing on one dice, terrible on the other.
Okay, well, apparently Krench and Merrick were distracted by a butterfly, maybe. But Lucius, you see in the distance, maybe quarter mile away, half mile away, at the edge of the forest, it looks like a small group of orcs appear to be doing something at the forest edge. They're not in the forest; they're just outside of the forest line in the clearing.
And these are full orcs, not
Not
Well,
half
you don't
orcs.
see anything. You're looking at the butterfly.
But I'm asking for. I guess it doesn't. I mean, I guess. Yeah, never mind. Okay.
I'm gonna just kind of snap my finger and point, not actually say anything. Try to get the attention of other people who aren't paying attention.
All right. Eamon, you see the three of them starting to look at something in the front there.
I'll ride up to him.
All right. Eamon rides up to you guys, and you see a couple. It's hard to tell at this distance. They're moving around a little bit, but 2, 3, 4, 5 of them doing something at the just off of the edge of the forest.
Are they orcs or half orcs?
They appear to be orcs from here, but it's hard to tell at this distance.
I mean, I think we just keep riding unless they're gonna approach. I don't see any reason for us to stop.
Okay, you guys just kind of ride. They notice you. They don't really seem to be doing anything one way or the other.
I mean, else maybe we want to approach to see if they.
Because right now you guys are kind of riding by and just kind of staring at each other.
How far away are they?
Like a middle school dance with the boys on one side and the girls on the other, and they just watch each other.
How far away are they?
Third to a quarter of a mile, something like that.
I'll use thaumaturgy to make my voice 3 times as loud and ask what they're doing.
One of the one that seems to be watching you guys the most kind of looks up in the air like, what the shit? But other than that, he doesn't make any obvious response.
Everyone besides me ears are just ringing.
I'm gonna look up to you, and in Orcish, I'm gonna say they probably don't understand you. And I know he won't understand. But
I'm gonna look back at Jason and respond what in a language that he doesn't understand.
and I'm gonna nod. I'm gonna nod at him knowingly. Like, yeah, exactly.
Which language that you don't understand would I have used? Probably the Dwarven language.
Okay. Keep on riding. I mean, unless we want to go talk to them, like.
I mean, I'd like to do
maybe they have something for trade, or I don't know.
I'd like to do an insight check and see what they're doing.
It's hard to tell from this far. If you'd have to get closer to see exactly what they're doing.
So generally speaking, orcs, are they, sophisticated in any way? Are they just very tribal?
Like, are these Warcraft orcs or are these Tolkien orcs?
They're not Tolkien orcs. They're
Okay.
the way I envision them is very much how American Indians are perceived. They generally like to keep to themselves, but they are tribal, so every tribe is going to be a little bit different. Some are more militant than others, but they're not. In Dungeons and Dragons, typically orcs are like these bloodthirsty villains all the time, and that's not what they are. They tend to keep to themselves largely, and not that they won't raid or they won't fight, but that's not their primary, MO, if you will.
Right.
I'm gonna look over to Merrick and say, "Are you curious about what they're doing?"
I'm gonna say yes and decide to motion to Krench that we should go talk to them because we both speak orc.
Okay.
I
don't think that's a journey we should make that far alone, though. If we're gonna go, we should take a group that's capable of fighting.
We don't want to. I mean, yeah, I agree that we shouldn't just go by ourselves. We want to make sure that we ride up to them, not imposing.
Sure, not in a threatening manner. Slow but steady, maybe mounted, but not,
Do the orcs have mounts?
Don't have weapons drawn.
The orcs, you do not see mounts for the orcs.
Okay, so if they're aggressive, you'd be able to run away from them on horses.
Right. Not only that, but I think if we do approach, we could do it in a way that interposes our party between, them and the caravan, so we can still continue to make sure that we're protecting them, but...
But I don't think we want to take the caravan off the road. I think like
No, caravan
There were-
continues forward, and then
Yeah,
we
so-
just kind of walk towards them, but maybe a little bit roundabout so that we stay, with the caravan in between us and them.
Right.
I mean, you could pretty easily ride over there, keep the caravan largely in sight as long as you didn't, stay over there forever.
Sure.
So what's,
I'll
what's
s-
I say we do that.
Okay.
I'll stay with the caravan.
Okay. So Merrick and Krench and Eamon, what are you doing?
I hop on Krench's horse.
Yeah, I go with him.
So Lucius is going to stay back and tend to the city's citizen folk, and the three of you kind of trot over to toward the forest edge. As you guys approach, you only see three outside of the tree line, but all three of you make a perception check.
14.
17.
Krench, you see 4 hiding in the tree line. Merrick, you would see 2, and Eamon, you would also. Oh, see none. Eamon, you see none hiding in the tree line. Actually,
So do I notice
Hey,
if they're
You all
aggressive?
see the birds up in the air?
they just seem. You can't really tell what they're doing, but they do just seem to be there. They're trying to stay hidden, clearly, but they're not really doing anything. Of the 3 that you see when you trot up, one of them clearly sees you coming and kind of slowly walks to where you'll hit him first. Kind of pseudo waiting for you, pseudo walking to meet you. And you also see there's a couple of very large dogs around them as well. You get closer to the one in the front, and you see the other 2. One of them, the 2 of the 3 orcs you can see, appears to be working on a large deer that they have felled.
Uh-huh.
And the and the last one, also near the deer, you see 6 bodies on the floor. 4 of them are definitely human. 2 of them slightly larger. You can't see what they are because the corpses have been covered by large animal hides. And of the 4 human bodies on the ground, one of them has been decapitated, and the head stuck on a pike in the ground near the forest edge. And as you
Human?
trot up, as you trot up to the guy who's waiting to meet you, the second one, not the one working on the deer, but the I should say third one, I suppose, you realize is a large, really strong woman orc. She brings her 2-handed axe down on one of the human bodies and cleanly severs the head. Near the bodies, you see some sticks, and it looks like maybe like kind of half-assembled stretchers laying on the ground there. And all 3 of these orcs, as you get closer, it looks like they have kind of minor wounds. And he doesn't seem at all concerned about you guys trotting up to him. He doesn't reach for his weapon. And other than the one that's coming out to meet you, the other 2 kind of barely look at you, frankly.
Okay.
So just going about their business.
Pretty much. Oh, and actually, both Merrick and Krench make a history check.
Alrighty.
10.
10.
Okay, carry on.
I'm gonna go ahead and do an insight check with this guy that's kind of like casually coming at us
Mhm.
to understand if he's trying to be like if his demeanor is reasonable or if it's like he's trying to trick us into something.
Okay. He seems pretty indifferent about your presence, honestly.
Okay. So I kind of motioned to Krench that he should start talking to this dude.
Yep. We'll just keep moseying the horse along until we reach him.
All right. So you guys, get within speaking distance. How close are you guys gonna get?
I mean, close enough to talk to him, but you know.
Close enough, but not too close.
Sure.
You know,
10
act
feet,
natural,
50 feet,
fly
30
natural.
feet?
Sorry.
Fly natural.
Let's see, how close would we have to be to talk to each other? Yeah, 50 is probably fine.
So you're yelling when you converse?
Okay, well, no, then 30, I guess, if it's, you know.
All right. So you stop at 30. He kind of keeps slowly walking up to you guys. He gets to about 15 feet away before he stops, and he's probably a good 30 to 40 feet away from his compatriots.
Okay.
How far away is he from the people we noticed in the tree line?
The tree line is only probably 10 feet away from where those other two were working, so he's probably 50 feet from the tree line.
Okay, so he's pretty far away from his comrades. Okay.
And I, you know, like, being raised mainly by humans, and, you know, and I don't know, I don't really know what to make of this situation. I'm a little vexed at what to say to this guy. I guess I'll just say, you know, in Orcish, hail, you know, we'll just kind of see what his intentions seem to be.
Well, he responds in kind, you know, something to the effect of greetings or well met, some kind of orcish expression that is the same.
All right.
I respond by congratulating on him on his kill and you know basically a appropriate forest gnome and druid greeting for a reasonable takedown in nature.
All right, fair enough. He says something to the effect of, yeah, it was a clean hunt, and we were going to bring you back to our people, and then he spits and uses a derogatory, vulgar term to refer to humans. Apparently, a group of robbers, bandits, thieves, whatever you want to call them, tried to take their kill from them.
Uh-huh.
That's the bodies on the field.
I shake my head and I ask if any of their people are hurt.
He says, well, we're all fine, but we lost two. As you glance over at the two large bodies under the hide, you can see the large woman impaling the second head on a spike and implanting it in the ground.
So are these people dead, or is it something that Lucius could help us with?
No, they're dead.
Okay.
Well, the people are dead. The orcs are
Oh, the
also...
orcs are-
Yeah, the two on the ground are dead, and the 4 humans on the ground are dead.
Okay.
But the orcs are just all moderately wounded.
What about the ones with the heads on their spikes? Are they dead?
They're really dead.
I've been mostly dead all day.
No, they're dead.
He kind of, you're not sure if he actually cares, or maybe he's being sort of polite, or maybe responding in kind with, you know, some kind of general question like, you know, where are you guys off to, or, you know, what brings you here, why are you here, kind of a question.
Now we were sent to protect this caravan. They actually were set upon by a very similar group of these types of bandits. They seem to be an increasing problem as the capital comes under more pressure.
He says, yeah, it's unfortunate that the problems of Menande are spilling into our tribes, but we'll defend our lands as need be.
As is your right.
He said, be careful as you work your way further south. There has been a large creature with a giant flat head. He describes it as approximately the size of a rhinoceros, probably, that has been kind of tearing up the land and eating everything in sight to the south. So he says, keep your wits about you.
I thank him for the information, and I return the information about the elven raids that have been coming from the north. That I don't know if they would engage with you, but their numbers were large enough that you might want to keep an eye out for it.
He appreciates the warning.
All right.
I pass out some good berries.
He cautiously accepts and passes them around to his compatriots and gives you thanks.
All right. Well, I think then with that, I'm just gonna bid them safe travels and start turning the horse around.
All right. You guys trot back to the convoy with no ill effect, joining up with it a little ways down the road. Assuming you fill Lucius in on the conversation.
Yep.
So the weather starts to clear up. It's been nice now, and the mood among the travelers is getting a little bit better as you start to churn slowly closer to your destination. Now, only figure 3 days or so away before you arrive in the town of Hastow. The next morning, you wake up, and as you're traveling south, you see some interesting features in the land. You see some trees that have been uprooted and knocked over. It appears like something burrowed under them and knocked them down. You see holes in the earth and remains of animals near the holes of the earth. Some random sinkholes. Kind of looks like something's tearing it up over there.
Like, how far away from the road is this?
It's kind of all over. It clearly has whatever is doing this does not care about the road at all. It's next to the road. It's far from the road. It's on the horizon. You can see some trees felled. So whatever's doing it has been a little bit all over the place, or there are multiple things doing it all over the place. Whatever the case may be, and the trees are fairly freshly knocked down.
So I'm gonna do a nature check to see if I have an idea of what. Now that I see the evidence of this thing,
Sure.
plus the description of what they told us.
Yeah, I'll help you
so
out
I'll
with
do-
that.
All right.
So,
So-
roll nature. 23.
Oh, natural 20. Okay, well, you know exactly what this is. The creature is called a bullet. It's a gray creature with a smooth skin, and the head probably takes up about a third of its body. It's got these gigantic jaws, and they're voracious hunters. They kind of get to an area, they just destroy and devour everything they can, and then they move on. They're completely fearless. They care nothing for numbers or strategy. If they think they can eat it, they will. They're incredibly destructive.
They have a shit ton of hit points too.
Yeah, and also no looking up monsters in the monster manual. That's a no-no.
Oh, okay. I thought it was okay since I knew what it
Nope.
was. I'm sorry.
That's fine. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, he'll
No.
basically give you the information that you're supposed to have.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm
No, it's
sorry.
all good, brother. We're all learning. Ain't
Yeah.
no thing.
Okay.
So with that roll, would he then also know any particular best way to avoid it?
That is a good question. He's not sure because it's kind of like if they stumble across you, they're gonna go. So
Okay.
the best thing is if you catch wind of where it is to avoid it.
You are a quarterback. That thing is Ray Lewis.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, it doesn't really seem. If I've learned anything from watching college football, running backwards doesn't really protect you from linebackers. So,
There is no safety from Ray Lewis.
right. So I guess we just continue. We should probably just continue on and just hope we don't come across this thing. But I think if there's any path we can take that we notice that is any, I don't know, less upheaved, I guess
Sure.
we should try and take that. But
All right, go ahead and make a survival check.
all right.
Should do that too.
Yeah.
I did a
Yeah, this is
17.
gonna beat mine, that's for sure.
Rolled a 17.
A 12.
All right, so you guys kind of do your best to steer clear of where it looks like this thing went. You kind of try to piece together the path that it took as it tore its way through the area, and you keep your wits about you as you work your way south. That evening, you enjoy your first warm meal and really the whole trip, frankly. Everybody's happy as you get fires going. Lucius has been slowly but surely patching the soldiers back up to where a lot of them are pretty close to fit anyway.
So ready to be eaten by a bullet? Is that what you're
Ready
saying?
to be eaten by a bullet. Exactly.
Fattening us up. Yep.
You guys even managed to make some semblance of a bland vegetable stew that evening as you're getting close to the end of your supplies, but otherwise doing okay. Day 9 goes by, and much of the same. There's still some of the same destruction, some of the same trees rooted up, an occasional corpse. But as you move further, excuse me, further and further south, destruction seems to get lessened, and eventually there doesn't really seem to be any signs of the bullet anymore. So either you've outpaced it, or it went in another direction, or it's waiting around the next corner. But whatever it is, you don't see any signs of it anyway.
Okay.
Take camp that evening, and you're just about 2-3 days away from arriving in Hastow, bringing the caravan safely to its destination. And Lucius, on your watch that night, make a perception check. All right.
15.
Nothing seems to happen on your watch. Everything goes well, and you wake up the next person and go to sleep. You guys wake up the 11th morning of your journey. And the terrain is changing here a little bit. It's been mostly flat, but now it's getting to be a little bit more in the way of kind of a little bit lightly wooded, slight rolling hills. The road's getting a little bit windy, not quite as straight. And you expect to arrive in Hastow tomorrow, maybe the next day. You're very close. And as it's getting to the end of the travel day, you round the corner, and assuming you guys haven't changed your marching order at all, Krench, Lucius, and Merrick, make a perception check.
23.
Ooh. I rolled a natural 1.
So, Krench and Merrick, as you round the corner, quickly coming into view, maybe 40 to 50 feet up the road is kind of a makeshift barricade blocking the path of the road. And this is a slightly more wooded area than has been before. And to the left of the road is a slight hill, slight rise. And you can see some humanoid figures hiding behind the barricade ahead. Appears to be 4 to 5, but hard to tell at this distance, and it is getting to be twilight a little bit.
So there's a hill to our left side.
A slight hill to the left. The right side is pretty level with a lightly wooded area.
How far away is this barricade?
40 to 50 feet. It was kind of around a sharp bend in the road.
Is it blocking our path?
Yes, it's directly across the road.
Okay. Well, I think we should have the caravan stop and have some of us approach and see what's going on.
Okay.
What should we? I think we should check on. We should kind of ride up the hill first. Because why go straight at the? I feel like we could be flanked pretty easily, and we could kind of meander our way up on the hill and kind of look over on down onto the barricade, right?
Will that allow them to just come straight at the caravan?
We could send one of us up there.
If you go up and over the hill, you will be out of sight of the caravan.
But we could go up the hill and look on the other side of the hill and see the caravan and see the
Yes, you
barricade.
could. You could go to the crest of the hill to look at the other side. Like the right side, the left side is also lightly wooded. Not heavy, but light.
How far up to the top about? Top of the hill?
I would say probably 40 to 50 feet up the top of the hill.
Okay, that's not much.
And maybe, let's say, 10 to 15 feet high. It's, kind of a low hill.
So I mean, obviously they've seen us if we can see them.
Yeah, they've definitely seen you guys. You're hard to miss. You're a 13 wagon convoy with like 100 people walking down the road.
Right.
Can we
right.
see anything in their reactions? So how they're reacting to us, or they're just
No,
behind the
what-
barricade and we can't even see them?
What you can see is just a couple of people behind the barricade. It's kind of hard to tell what they're doing.
Okay.
So if I go in the woods, I'm pretty like the hill's kind of lightly wooded, right?
Mhm.
So I could kind of run up that hill real fast, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could scamper up the hill.
What do you think, guys? Should I go scamper up the hill or should I stay with you?
What if there's people just on the other side of the crest?
I'm a gnome and I run really fast.
Are there woods on the side of us or what?
It's just kind of a generally lightly wooded area, not heavy woods, light
I'm
woods.
gonna make a perception check and see if I see anybody hiding in there.
Where exactly are you looking?
In the woods, the lightly wooded area.
Up the hill or to the plains to the right? When I say plains, I mean flat ground plains because it's lightly wooded flat ground.
That way.
Okay.
Wherever, like, I'm looking to just check around us and see if there's anybody trying to flank us. And
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check. The only people that you see are the ones behind the barricade ahead of you.
So, but that's not checking over up the hill.
That
That's
is
just...
not on the other side of the hill. That's just looking up the hill.
Well, we're gonna have to go through this barricade with the. I mean, like, we're not gonna be able to go around it.
Sure, we can. We're just trying to figure out if we're gonna get jacked.
I'm gonna jump off the wagon and start walking towards the barricade. I'll get to where I'm about 30 to 40 feet.
Okay, I mean, 'cause it's like
Yes.
40 to 50 feet from the curve, so I mean, it's pretty close right when you round it, or the front wagon anyway. So you'd be going like 10 feet in front of the wagon, let's say, to get that close.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna thaumaturgy to make my voice a bit louder, and be like, "Are you asking for a toll? Are you trying? What is your purpose here? What are you doing?"
So you kind of see them look up, like, what the and one of them says, "Yes, there is a toll to pass this road.
How much?
It's 15 gold pieces."
For what? Yeah, asking for what?
It's a pass.
Where are you guys when Lucius is stepping forward?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would have, seeing somebody approach, like, that was my plan. So
Okay.
I would have gone with him.
You hear a voice from there, 15 gold pieces, and we let you pass, no problems.
And if we refuse,
Then you get problems.
what if we don't have 15 gold?
then you get problems.
Then you got problems.
Hmm.
So
I say we turn around, take the convoy an hour south, and then we ride up here and do some recon.
That's not a terrible idea.
I mean,
is there anywhere we can go hour south though with the convoy or with off
I mean,
the
you
road?
could turn the convoy around. It is going to be a little bit of an ordeal turning wagons. Yeah.
I guess my concern is we've got the monster behind us.
How far
Mm.
behind us is he?
It's been a day or so since you've seen signs of him.
Do we know with Merrick's knowledge roll how quick they get around? Like how long does it take them to fuck up an area and move on?
Well, they're definitely moving faster than the slow-moving convoy of civilians, for sure.
Yeah.
so I think
They also aren't going in a straight line to a destination, too. They're a little all over the place. But in theory, if it was moving in this direction, like if you were both moving in the same direction, it could theoretically be coming up behind you.
So I think I'd like to step up basically next solution, and yell back over the wall. We have a lot of people that are in need of traveling through this road. We don't want any trouble either, but we
So
don't
as you're-
have the
as-
gold.
As you're talking, you hear somebody yell from behind the wall. Krench? Is that Krench the wrench?
Of course they did.
I'm gonna kind of just turn and stare at Krench. Just no expression. I'm just
And
gonna
I'm
stare
just
at him.
gonna start shaking my head, just hanging it, not too far, but just a little bit. Do I recognize this voice?
I'm gonna
Um,
snicker.
We will find out next week, because that is the stopping point for the evening.
And here I thought I was gonna get to do my first intimidation check.
No. Brian, come on.
Yes.
Say the words I want to hear.
So last week, the quest was worth 400 experience points that we didn't have a chance to go over. You all started at 300, which is the base to reach level 2. So I believe, let me get the chart up in front of me.
We need 900.
You need 900. So the 400 from last week would bring you up to 700. For this
So-
week, you get 500. So that
So
would
we
bring
level
you-
up.
We would bring it to 1200. And also, I made a list of a couple little things for some little mini bonus XP. So Grendel, you get 50 bonus XP for doing your funeral rites. I really like that. That was nice.
I thought you said you
Yay.
were going to be doing checkpoints and not.
Both.
A little
Okay.
mix sounds like.
All the above. A little 50 bonus XP here, a little 50 bonus XP there.
So do I have to write this down, or are you keeping track of it for us?
I am not
You're gonna-
keeping track of
yeah.
it. There is a place on your character sheet to do so.
Okay, so you
Okay,
said we
so-
were at 1200.
So you would be at 1200 base.
So mine's at 1250.
Yours is at 1250. Jason, you are also now at 1250. I loved how you described your rage at the beginning of that fight after taking out your frustration on them.
Okay.
50 bonus XP for Andrew for his little raven, and the trick was pretty neat. And then another bonus 50 XP for Grendel using the thaumaturgy to try to find more ankegs. I thought that was pretty clever.
I think you should give Jeremy 50 for going into melee to fight a thing with 4 hit points. I'm just saying, that's balls.
Which really lives up to his intelligence of 7.
It really does.
I tried to play him in character.
So we do have a few minutes. You guys are welcome to do your level ups. The only thing you can't do without me is roll for hit points. So
Well, can't we do that right now before you
yeah,
leave?
you 100% can. So I believe Jay, you get.
Ah!
Oh, that hurts.
I was just going to say you can take the low, average, or roll. So Lucius, you're gaining 1 hit point plus your con modifier. Merrick, you can either take 4 hit points or roll a d8, or you can be a man and roll a d8.
So just so I understand, my current XP should be 1250, and my XP for next level should be what? Just so I have that.
2700.
So yeah, I already know I get a D12 for my dice, so I'm just gonna
So
roll.
you can either take a 6 or roll a d12.
I'm rolling. Another 5. That was the same one I got for, but that's still plus 3. So
Better
that's
than a
8.
1.
Yeah, so
Alright,
that's
so I'm
31. I'll
rolling-
take it.
I'm rolling a
2700 XP to 4th level.
D8. Okay, so I'm rolling a D8 right now.
Wow. Wow.
I was
I
just
rolled-
gonna test my luck and
We are gonna be the
Plus-
worst. Oh, that was
plus
you.
2.
Yeah. He was just trying to. So you get 4 plus your con modifier.
Which is 2, so that brings me.
6.
That was 20. I was at 16, so now I'm at 22.
Sounds
Jesus.
right.
Jesus.
four rolls on the D8, 3 1s and a 2.
Jeremy, are you gonna
Oh,
take?
I'm taking my 5.
You get a D8, right? You're a rogue.
I get a D8.
Yeah. So you're taking your 4.
5, according to the
4.
book.
I don't care what the book says. 4. It's the low end of the median. 4.
He's punishing you because you're not being a man.
Because you're not being a
rolling the
man and
dice.
rolling a die.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Ugh.
not rolling the dice.
But you rolled the dice.
You did. So you may take your 4 hit points now.
I need hit points, Goose. I'm a melee cleric. I'm gonna be squishy.
Maybe you should take a level up in something that's not cleric to get a little extra HP.
Who is taking the PC write-up this week?
1, 2, 3, not it.
It can't be Grendel, or it can't be Jay. He already did it.
I mean, I'd
Not
be
it.
willing to do it every week if you guys don't want to.
Nope, I want someone else.
Where was I actually didn't see the write-up. I'm sorry.
All you, it's in the World Guide under PC Journals. All you have to do is write a paragraph or two describing what happened. Doesn't need to be crazy. They
Maybe you
did a
should
pretty
give
nice
them an
job.
incentive, Goose, like
I'll do it.
50 experience points.
I'll do it. Even before the experience points, but if there's 50 experience points, I'm not gonna argue.
All right, so Andrew, you got this. DM it to me sometime this week so I can add it to the PC Journals. Because what'll be neat is as we keep going, you guys can kind of look back and see it. All the stuff you forgot, even, you know.
So you said 2,400 for
2,700 for level 4.
700 for level 4. Okay.
So we're 3rd level now, right?
You are 3rd level now.
Oh,
Awesome.
baby.
So
That
what does
means-
that mean for?
All right, well let's do this for you. Andrew, go ahead and open up the player's handbook.
Okay,
So-
okay.
Scroll
For me,
to-
that means I get 2 second level spells, and that's awesome.
and go to Druid
Which is on page.
65.
There we are.
Scroll to page 66. You're going to have your chart there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you see at 3rd level, your proficiency bonus isn't going to change. That's going to stay the same. You actually
Okay.
don't gain any features. This is a really, really easy level up for you. You don't
Okay.
learn any new cantrips, but now you have 4 second level spell or 4 first level spells and 2 second level spells.
Okay, so that means I can pick another first level spell and pick 2 second level spells.
Well, as a druid, you already have access to them all, but you're adding to your generic what you have prepped. So all of the spells on the druid, you have access to all of those, every single one of them.
Okay.
But every day, you're gonna prep this generic list unless you tell me otherwise.
Okay.
Like in the morning, you get to choose what spells you want for that day.
Correct. But
You only get to choose once for that day, and you can cast any of those spells up to 4 times.
correct. And
Like
for
you
the
have
sake
4
of
spell
expediency-
casts, and you get to
Yeah.
choose from the ones you've prepped.
For the sake of expediency, I'm not going to every day we wake up. What spells are you prepping? What spells are you prepping? What spells are you prepping? Because it's an exercise in tedium to do that. So for spellcasters, it's you have these spells prepped generically. Just every morning, these are the ones you think are going to be most generically useful. And unless maybe you guys are delving into an underwater temple and you think water breathing would be helpful that day, right? So you're going to say, hey, instead of prepping this other spell, I'm going to prep water breathing. So the spells you tell me are the ones that you always have prepped unless you explicitly tell me otherwise. So all of those spells on the druid spell list you can cast. You just have to prep them that day.
Okay.
It's a ton of spells.
I'm gonna tell you mine right now, Goose, if you're ready.
Why don't you type it right there in the search bar? It'll save it because it saves the chat, so it'll just save it for next time.
Okay.
Or even you could put it in the notes in your character too.
Can do that too. I like it here though because I see it right there. So generally, Andrew, we're looking at this chart. This is going to tell you what you level up, right? So like at 4th level, for example, you get to improve one of your ability scores. Your wild shape becomes stronger, and you gain more spells. Plus, you have to pick a cantrip, and you always roll for more hit points.
Wow.
So
So,
this
okay,
is the
so,
this is the chart that'll tell you each level what you get that makes you more powerful.
okay, when you say ability score improvement, like do we literally roll from like I'm gonna be
Nope.
like I'm gonna
You get
try
to pick 2 different ability scores that you can raise by 1, or you can choose a feat from the feats table.
Well, can't you raise one ability score by 2 as well?
It's either or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
can
either
do-
choose to get +2 to an ability score, or you get a feat.
And some of the feats that aren't as powerful, which I really like to do, some of the feats that aren't as powerful actually give you a bonus to 1. It'll be like, take this feat and raise 1 score by 1.
Which is a nice
Yeah.
bonus if you have like an odd numbered.
Well, and not only that, is some of the feats, frankly, just
Ability.
aren't as strong as the other ones. So it gives them a little bonus incentive if you like the feat, but you're like, but man, that's not as good as...
It's suboptimal. No.
Right, exactly.
Worth noting, you can also put 1 in 2 different ability scores. You don't have to do it
Yep.
+2.
Yep, or the feat,
to
either
one.
one.
Yeah.
So, like for example, when you get to 4th level,
Mm-hmm.
but you got the other one, so I got to look at your thing. Hold on, which
God, I
circle
want
are
to take the
yours?
higher. I want to take the higher damage stuff, but every time I'm actually in the game playing, movement is such it's so frustrating.
Well, you've just also been unfortunate in that in all of our combat, you've started like well away from the combat.
Yeah.
Except for the one time.
Well, yeah.
At level 6 is when I get ridiculous, as far as my wild shape is concerned.
All right, Brian, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
At level 3, proficiency with disguise kit, but I already have it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be okay with me taking, say, forgery kit, since it's in line?
Is that next level?
No, that's right now. At 3rd. I wasn't. I was looking for something that's similar, or at least within the realm of whatnot.
So here's my initial answer is, yes, once we have an in-game reason to explain it. As you went from 2nd to 3rd level, traveling on a roll and fighting big hand. So, like, where did you learn to forge something?
Gotcha.
So, yes, tentatively, when we get to the town or whatever.
Or here's another option.
All right.
What if I took, like, say, expertise in disguise, since I have it twice?
Okay, I can deal with that.
I figured that's a neutral.
Sure. Totally, that's fine too. Either way you want to do it. If you want to take the forgery one, but knowing you can't use it right away, that maybe in session
Right.
you have a reason to do it, it's cool. Or if you want to take expertise in the other one, that's fine.
I'm gonna take expertise. Actually, I'll think about it.
All right. Yeah, you don't have to decide now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sound daft because like you guys keep saying it, but like what I'm saying, if I'm looking at that link, right, which is like all of the various spells.
Yep.
For a druid.
Mhm.
I mean, they certainly have partitioned this stuff off by 1st and 2nd level.
Correct.
So, like, what you're saying is I could pull a 9th level in on my 2nd.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Okay, so
yeah.
you look at your druid chart on page 66.
Right.
Right. You got that up. You see how when you get to 20th level, you can cast 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th level spells.
Right.
So when you got to 17th level, you would literally have access to all of those spells there. But you're at 3rd level now, and you can see you can cast 1st level and 2nd level spells. So those are all the spells you have access to.
Okay, so I have access to all those spells, but I'm not limited to just 3 2nd level spells, or 2 2nd level spells rather.
Well, you are limited to preparing 2 2nd level spells.
Okay.
But you can pick from any of these spells.
2nd level. Okay.
Right.
It's yeah.
So there's and maybe it's not clicking because here's the difference. A wizard has a spell book, and he can only prep spells out of his book. So if it's not in there, he can't pick it. A sorcerer knows X amount of spells. If he doesn't know them, he can't use them. Druids and clerics aren't limited by spell books or what spells they know. They simply have access to all of these spells, and you have to decide every morning which ones you're going to prepare and be able to cast that day.
That's your repertoire?
Right.
Like, you know all of that. But you can only pick, currently, 2 2nd level spells a day and 4 1st level spells a day.
Correct.
And it changes, and you can change that every day if you want to. Like, if you want Healing Word, Guiding Hand, Ice Knife, and Jump one day, you can switch that the next day for Earth Tremor, Entangle, Fairy Fire, and Fog Cloud.
Correct.
Like, because you know all of those, but you can only prep so many at a time.
Sure. Okay. And that makes sense. Yeah.
Let's say you get Guiding Hand, Healing Word, Ice Knife, and Jump. You can cast Jump 4 times and not do the other ones. When you prep, like in old school D&D, you used to have to prep multiple fireballs if you thought you were going to use fireball more than Jump.
Yeah. Unless you were a sorcerer.
Right. So in this one, it does, like, when you prep it, you can cast it as many times as you have that spell slot. Lose it. So, you think about it as you have all of these tools in the toolbox, but you only have so many slots to put on your belt each day. So every day you can take the tools, put them back in your toolbox, and pick out other ones and put them in your belt.
Okay. And do some of these actually like affect
Yes.
they would hurt our teammates. If I'm looking at Dust Devil, and it's
Probably.
saying any creature
Yep.
within 5 feet of this must take a strength saving throw or be bludgeoned by it.
Correct.
That's why
So-
you position it in such a way that it's not on top of me.
Or that it only hits Jason because he's going to make his strength.
Right.
Right.
The only exception to this, Andrew, is cantrips, because cantrips you can cast as many as you want. You don't run out, but you
Right.
notice you don't know all of those ones. You only know 2. Now you know no, you don't know a third one. You only know.
I
2.
know a third one because I have illusionist from being
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So those 3 you can cast as much as you want. What you need to start being aware of now is when you look up these spells,
Mhm.
there's like you need to. Oh shit, that doesn't click on it. You need to look up one, if they have a spell component that has a money cost, you actually need to have that.
Okay.
So, for example, the one you hear in Critical Role all the time is the Prismatic Orb. He has a diamond. You have to have a diamond to cast it. So every time he casts it, he gets his diamond out and he casts the spell. Because in the description it says you must have a diamond worth 100 gold pieces or whatever.
Okay.
So in the spell description, if it says you need a piece of fur, and that's all it says, you can just use your spellcasting rock instead. But
Right.
if it says diamond dust worth 10 gold pieces, the rock won't work because it's worth 10 gold pieces. You need to actually have the diamond dust. And then the more powerful spells will
It's a
actually...
big thing too if it says that it's consumed upon casting.
That's what it's saying. And the more powerful spells, not only do you need to have the component, but it'll consume the component when you cast the spell, which can make casting powerful spells really expensive.
Sure.
Well, there's the spell that I actually just got. I've already got one. That the continual flame, costs 50 gold worth of ruby dust, and the spell consumes it. Now it makes a fire that lasts forever,
But I
until it's dispelled.
But I guarantee you're not going to be casting that thing willy-nilly.
No, that's 50 gold. That's a lot of money.
Well, and not just 50 gold is he's going to have to go into town and go out of his way, and he's going to say, Goose, I'm going to go to this jeweler and I'm going to buy 100 gold pieces versus ruby dust so I have it to cast the spell twice. Or whatever.
And how often do you need a flame that lasts
forever? But you know what? When you need it, you really need
You're
it.
very happy that you had it.
All right. If we ever get a house for our little troop, we can just have a fire in the hearth forever that never goes out. We have a gas log.
So this is pretty cool stuff. I'm looking at this. There's Thunder Wave and some other cool purify.
Some of these
food and
spells are really potent, and
Moonbeam's a good one for you, Andrew.
definitely worth looking into. By the way, when you get to 4th level, you can now turn into animals that have a swimming.
Yes. And then the other thing too that happens to me at 6th level if I'm reading my Druid of the Circle, the Circle of the Moon correctly, then I can do anything that's half my level.
Right, rounded down. No, divided by 3. Starting at 6th level, transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as your Druid level divided by 3. So starting at level 6, you can turn into any beast with a challenge rating of 2.
2.
Right now you're at challenge rating 1.
Yep.
So.
And when you're at 9th level, it'll be challenge rating 3.
Correct.
By the way, Goose, I know we talked about me having seen obviously brown bears because ripping shit up with that.
Right.
Do dire wolves exist in your world? And what I've seen some.
Yes, and probably.
Okay. Because I might be ripping some shit up as a dire wolf here pretty soon.
What is that? What is its CR?
It's a 1 as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
So let's see. Let's see if we can find some challenge rating 2 animals.
Dire bear, maybe?
Maybe.
It might actually even be higher than 2.
A lion. Now, lions don't exist in this part of the world, but a lion is a challenge rating 1.
Oh, dire bear's challenge rating 6.
Yeah, they're pretty beefy.
So you're gonna have to be level 18 to turn into a dire bear.
Well, boy, when you do,
Oh yeah, it's got 22 strength. It's plus 10 strength. It's plus 5 con. It's not very smart,
but he retains his intelligence.
but you retain your mental stats. So yeah, like if you wanna turn into the animal equivalent of a barbarian, turn into a dire bear. Let's see.
All right, so you guys ready for something cool that I think will go pretty well with your little eagle friend?
Sure.
My
So for-
Raven, yeah.
Yeah. So so for level 3, I'm going totem of the eagle, which I thought I'm kind of proud. I kind of set that up a little bit in my RP earlier. But anyway,
which one's the eagle totem?
so with the eagle totem, it allows me to bonus action dash while I'm raging, and it also makes it so that enemies have disadvantage while I'm raging if they get an attack of opportunity against me. So good little stuff, but one of the cool things I hadn't even noticed until just now is I also get the ability to ritual cast Beast Sense. You touch a willing beast. For the duration of the spell, you can use your action to see through the beast's eyes and hear what it hears, and continue to do so until you use your action to return to your normal senses. So, do I have to stay in contact with the eagle, or do I touch it, I get to see through it, and then it can fly, and I still get to, see what it sees, hears what it hears?
I think that's pretty much the thing that Caleb does.
I
with
was going to
his-
say the same. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
it
it's the
seems
same
to
thing
me
he does
that,
with Frumpkin, yeah.
right.
So that could be really cool, but I might have to become friend. Oh wait, okay. So while perceiving through the beast senses, you gain the benefits of any special senses possessed. Yeah, so it doesn't specifically specify if I have to stay in contact, but it doesn't seem like I would.
By the way, challenge rating 2 animal that Andrew could turn into at level 6 would be a hunter shark, which is 20 foot long shark.
just plops onto the ground as a shark in the middle of a field. Shit! Didn't think this through.
Oh, and speak with animals. Nice. So I get beast sense and speak with animals as ritual cast spells.
So you could start hanging out with my. I could introduce you to Pooh.
Yeah, I can start talking to Pooh.
A giant elk, random.
But
Challenge rating 2.
what's its speed?
The
Pooh's
giant
a
elk?
Raven.
Yeah, the giant elk.
Oh,
I bet the giant elk's speed is like 60 or 70 or something crazy.
60 feet. Yep. Good
Yeah.
guess, good guess.
And you know why I know that? Because when you're a druid in WoW, your travel form is an elk.
Nice. Giant
That's true.
boar. You can turn yourself into a giant boar. Challenge rating 2.
What's up, Ish?
Maybe a frost wolf.
We are all done playing for tonight, but we just leveled up to level 3, so now we're planning our next moves and talking to each other about how cool our new builds are gonna be.
Winter wolf is challenge rating 3, so you're gonna have to be level 6 for that guy.
There's not a whole lot of challenge rating 2 ones. There's a lot of 1s and 3s.
Yeah, I was looking. I can turn into a killer whale at 9.
You know what we could do is we could have Krench just kind of throw you up in the air above someone, and you can turn into a whale and just land on them.
Projectile gnome.
It was a whale, and then it was a gnome, and then goddamn, it did not turn into a whale.
And then they went splat.
Smushing damage.
I don't even know how you calculate damage for something like that. Goose just goes like, fuck it, he's dead. Like, I don't know.
All right, roll for attack.
So apparently the moonbeam does 40 foot high in the air in addition to the effect. So like I can hit things in the air with this as well, if I'm understanding that correctly.
If it's within 40 feet, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Check that out.
Oh, did you import that from somewhere?
No, I've copy and pasted it.
Oh, okay.
Is that Krench the wrench?
So that happens when I do that, and then I think if I do this, it does both. So, yeah. It's like I can actually paste this into the. Is that useful to you, Brian? If I just do that?
Yeah, if I'm not familiar with the spell, absolutely.
Cool.
What's the
Well, plus that will show up on the stream too, so everybody can read it.
what's the damage on it? I'm not seeing the damage.
It is
Visibility.
2d10.
2d10 radiant damage unless it makes a save.
Okay.
Well, or half as much on a successful one.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Unless you're a shape changer, of course, then it makes your saving throw at a disadvantage.
So, do I get any modifier on this? There's no modifier, right?
Well, the saving throw is dependent on your spellcasting stat, which is wisdom, and proficiency. So that's where that comes from.
But I'm saying like on the drop down here, I get like there's like a drop down where it's like stat bonus, and it's like strength mod, dex mod, and any of that stuff.
Are you looking on your character sheet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me pull it up. Hold on.
So on my character sheet, like when I'm saying there's a
On
damage
core stats?
on spellbook,
Oh, spellbook. Okay.
Oh,
and
that's
then if
cool.
you go to, you're like switching my thing around. It's funny. And then if you go to level 2, I put damage dice. I put 2d10.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a drop down for stat bonus.
Oh, no stat bonus.
Okay.
Oh, no, those aren't brackets. Those are brackets.
So if I do spell info, you guys should see all that now. Yeah, you do.
Beautiful.
Oh, but it doesn't show you specifically what you rolled. It just gives you the total. That's
Well,
interesting.
that's spell info. Oh, what did you do?
Arrow said if you put double brackets around the D10, it'll actually roll it for you. So what I did was I did bracket 2d10 bracket, and that's what it rolled.
Wait.
Oh, so
But it
check
only
it out.
gave me 16, so it didn't tell me like, you know, which one's higher. Or...
Like that?
It's got to be a double bracket. You got 2 brackets around, 2 brackets on each side. Yeah,
So did you see how I did
so
that?
it gave you
Right.
the total, but it didn't. Oh, I guess we can mouse over it.
Oh, mouse over it. It'll tell you if you hover. Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I like using this tape.
In that case, I like seeing the roll, honestly.
So
Yeah.
if I understand this correctly too, it says when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher,
Mhm.
the damage increases. So if I'm
So
understanding what that
every
means
time
correctly-
you up the level, you get to add a d10. So you
So you have-
can use a 5th level spell slot to cast Moonbeam,
Mhm.
and it's 2 levels higher, or I guess it'd be 3 levels higher. So you get to add 3 extra d10 to the damage.
When you get the ability to cast 5th level,
Right.
which you don't have right now.
So I can do the same thing with Inflict. But Inflict is a 1st level spell, I think, if I recall. Pretty sure.
So the point is, this
Yeah.
helps us. Like, we should be filling this out because this will help a lot more casting spells, or at least when I'm casting spells.
Well, the point is you can build it into the spell itself, so you don't have to hit the spell and then also roll the dice. You could
Right.
have the attack rolls in there as well. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, because his rolls were right there at the top.
Yep.
Right.
All right,
Cool.
interesting. And I guess by hovering, it does show you what was rolled. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Means that's.
Well, we're learning. We're learning how to
Yeah.
use this.
Now we know when we want any roll 20 questions, we just ask Arrow.
Yeah.
Because if I do spell info, you
Yeah,
guys
exactly.
just get straight up info that I have. Cast it.
How do I do that?
It sounds like you need to have a meeting with Arrow at some point, Goose.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't gotten to the point where I really need to start using the features of it quite yet, but it's going to come in the near future.
Well, if you really need it to use, one thing we can do is there's ways to that we can help pay you for this or whatever. Like we can like send you some money, but there's also ways to gift it to your DM.
I
Already
think-
did.
I think Jeremy already did that.
Oh,
But
okay.
so far, I haven't used it. 2, I don't think so far I haven't needed anything that's not available.
Okay, well, because the coolest thing that we get out of that is I think that there's a mobile app that you can.
You can get the mobile app for free.
but you can use it. I don't think you can use it unless you unless your DM is paid for it.
No, I can use the mobile app right now because I paid for it, and it was like $4 a month or something cheap. But the mobile app has no voice.
Hmm.
And when I was using the mobile app, I couldn't see the map either.
The Roll20 mobile app is garbage, apparently.
Yeah.
Good to know, though.
Too bad, because like that would be a reason to, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you can't see the map and
Mhm.
you can't use the voice chat, the only time it could ever be useful is if you were like using it as a character sheet
Yep.
at a table, and there's free apps that do that just as well.
Yep. Sure. All right. So cantrips. I need to go through my cantrips.
If we're gonna actually look into spending money, I think Fantasy Grounds is the thing we should probably look at because it looks like it has a richer feature set
Okay.
than Roll20.
And I mean, we can also look at D&D Beyond if we are planning on spending money. I don't know what the cost difference is, but
Massive.
okay. Well,
D&D Beyond, like, in order for us just to play this, would cost like 150 for all of us or something like that.
wow.
Yeah, it's really pricey.
Okay.
D&D Beyond's great if you don't have any of the books.
Right. If you're
Yeah.
kind of starting from scratch on it.
Hmm.
The cool thing about Fantasy Grounds is it lets you do maps and all sorts of stuff, and they've just started making one that's with the Unity engine. So when you move your characters around and stuff like that, it gives them a line of sight. Like it's got active shading. So if there's something that they're moving on the map that is like hidden, they won't see it until they move until they have a line of sight, and they're like, "Oh shit, there's a goblin there" or whatever. So that's kind of cool, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's going to happen though is if I start figuring out all the stuff on here, I'm probably not going to want to learn another thing.
That's fair.
So
I mean,
Given
basically, the only reason I would consider exploring another one at this point is if once I got comfortable enough with the features that are available, if I thought it wasn't serving our needs adequately.
That's fair.
So, based on what you just saw, does that make sense to you that would be correct Thornwood based on that description, Goose?
I'm sorry.
I just rolled it in the
Correct. Yeah. So you rolled your spell attack roll was an 18, and if that's higher than the target's AC, you do 6 piercing damage.
yeah, because this is if the attack hits, right? So this would
Right.
be one that needs a 0, right?
Correct.
So what did you guys think of the music system? Is that working
Totally
out
fine.
okay?
I don't have to worry about it now.
I don't keep getting disconnected.
Right.
All right, guys, I'm gonna dip out.
Later.
Who's the guest on Rewind, Jay?
Well, I can, anybody Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So we're gonna just do that as a one night off. And I mean, I think this would be a good week to get together with Mongoose, unless anyone else is burning to do it.
I'm good.
No, not me quite yet.
Okay. So, anybody but Grendel then. So we got Andrew or Jeremy who wants to hop
I can
on
do it
and
this
play a
week.
game for an hour.
I can do it this week.
All right. So,
We'll get in touch like tomorrow or something and figure it out.
okay, and you guys can check my Twitter if you guys are interested, if anybody's interested in watching. Well, basically, we're going to do, of course, our one stream for 6 to 10, and we'll post that on YouTube, and then we'll have the reaction video either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, depending on when we're eligible, right around 8 o'clock, and we're just, basically, it's going to be two of us playing a side game and talking about the session for an hour and what we thought about it, and what we're looking forward to for the next one. So, hope you guys will check that out, and we're going to go ahead and shut the stream off, but thanks everybody that came out and watched. Anything else any of you guys got to say?
No.
Nope.
Alright.
Big better.
Well, maybe we'll make it to the spooky festival next time and I'll get to use the Dark Foon Mare music again. Till then, have a good night, everybody.